Thank you for joining us at Beerfish Fanatics. And this episode is actually brought to you by Whisker Secret Tackle.
So make sure you guys go to whiskersecret.com for all your catfishing gear.
Enjoy the episode, guys.
Hey, he did it to himself.
He did, you're right.
But did you notice how we actually started catching fish when we put the bets on? It's always the case. All right, here, Fishing Kit, I owe you a stupid beer if you guys are watching or listening. Fishing Kit, of course, outfished me. What's normal? Here, I gotta slam this.
Yeah, all is right in the world.
Yep.
And of course, I had to get a tall boy. That's always good.
Oh, you need one?
Yeah, I need one, brother.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I can't drink it as fast anymore.
Should have shotgunned it.
You'll be real warmed up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll wait to open it.
We're recording.
I don't know. Did you hit record?
I did.
Hello.
Yeah. That just helps us sync up the audio later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
So
we
you
got
can
to
start
record
up.
the audio on here and then the
Gotcha.
yeah.
We'll leave whatever in here. All right, everybody.
So we're here?
Yep. Welcome to another episode of Beerfish Fanatics. This is Granny with Mop Pop Sports and Mop Pop Fishing, and we have
Kit with the Fishing Kit YouTube channel.
And today we are on site. We just finished a nice tour of a central Iowa lake, and we're fishing for some fish with stripes today.
Absolutely.
So we figured, you know what better place to record a podcast right after we slayed them.
Yeah,
right?
we're right at the lake still.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a gorgeous view. We showed you guys, but the lighting will probably get blown out from this angle.
Very true.
And we don't want to give away our secrets
Nope.
too much anyway.
They don't you guys just know. You guys already know. Fishing Kit and myself are from Iowa. That's all you need to know. So that's close enough, right, Kit?
Yeah,
There
yeah.
you guys go. So, all right. So today, joining us, we have Mr. Geoff, with the owner of Backyard Baitshop.
That's me.
Welcome, sir. And
you.
we are going to talk a little bit about him and his company and everything. But before that, we always got to do huge shout out to our sponsor, Firetrucker Brewery Company. Brigade Ale is what we're drinking today. The pre-prohibition golden ale.
Sounds good.
So it's a golden ale and the 5.2% alcohol IBU of 26. So it's not too hoppy, guys. Go try this one
Not
out.
too hoppy.
Nope. Dawn of 20th century recipe crafted with orange and juniper. Beer is art. Ankeny, Iowa, guys. So
I say cheers to a good day. of
cheers.
fishing.
Cheers. Oh, it was a great day of fishing.
Great day. Weather
Absolutely.
cleared up. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we'll definitely. Oh, that's a good beer.
Let me give it a
Not
taste.
bad.
That is not bad. If you guys, if anybody's in central Iowa and around Ankeny, go to their tap room, guys. Help us out. Look, for us to do this podcast, huge shout out to them for sponsoring us. All you guys need to do, if you guys like this stuff, go to the tap room. If you order a beer and just tell them that you listen to Beerfish Fanatics, you get $1 off. That's it. Helps us.
Perfect.
Helps us.
Yeah,
Simple.
let's them know that people listen to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know you guys probably just listen to Fishing Kit, and they just watched or listened to me for just laughs.
No, I've actually been watching all of your earlier podcasts,
There
trying
you
to
go.
get to know you before I met you.
Appreciate that.
So
man.
it's been interesting. I like them. I do.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, actually.
Thank you. That's good.
You're welcome.
I think that's the whole point, is us to have a good time, but also because I learned stuff from the podcast. I think I've said that many times, is that it's educational for me to get better at fishing through the podcast. It's interestingly enough, it has actually been that case.
And you can always learn more stuff while listening. Whether it's fishing, podcasting,
Yep.
you can always learn stuff.
Very true. Just like
Absolutely.
today, I think when we learned, I learned quite a bit of stuff today. Can't give it away, man. We got trade secrets here on how to catch it. So we'll start with everything. This mid June, late June. Sorry,
It's almost July.
It's almost July. Heat is on. However, today we came to a lake to meet up. Geoff it was gracious enough to take Fishing Kit and myself out on the lake on his boat and really show us some new techniques that I've never used to catch hyperstriped bass, the fish that we like to catch.
Yeah. And I have learned this technique from other people, but I'm just kind of trying to improve it, basically. And I've had a lot of success in the last couple of weeks doing some special research, I should say.
Yeah. Geoff,
Yeah.
if you're friends with Geoff on Facebook, or you follow his Backyard Baitshop page, he's been killing it out here.
I have. I haven't been sharing near as many as I've been catching because I was trying to kind of keep it hush-hush. But I think I'm getting them kind of figured out now, so it's time to experience that with some other people.
Yeah, it was a blast because it's been a while since I've been on a good bite for hybrid striped bass for the wipers, and it was nice to hear the reel just peel today.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely nice.
Always.
This is the thing, guys. I know we have a lot of listeners who are in different areas who probably don't have hybrid striped bass. I highly recommend you guys try it once and go. I don't know, like we were just talking on the boat. How can you not like it? How can you not love it, actually? How can you not love catching a wiper?
I don't know how you couldn't. It's just, it's amazing. The way they fight, the way they run.
Yeah.
Fairly long-lasting for their power, or for their size.
Right.
They just go.
For some reason, there's people that just, it doesn't do it for them.
Do you think
I don't know if they look down on it.
That's what I was going to
like,
say.
Oh, it's so easy. You could throw anything at them and catch them, but... As you already know,
it's not always that easy.
No. and I think that's the same thing with the white bass. It gets, I wouldn't say it's like a bad rep, but it gets a rep, like you're just saying, a reputation like, oh, if they're biting, you can just throw anything, they'll eat it, right? And they'll just bite. I go, well, same thing can be said about largemouth bass. You know
or
what I'm
anything.
saying? Or anything, yeah. If they're hungry or if they're biting, then yeah, you can throw almost anything and you'll catch.
Crappie spawn,
Yeah.
Pick a flower and throw it on a hook and throw it at them. They're going to bite it. I'm serious.
That is true.
Certain time of year for everything, it's going to be like that. Now, here in probably a few weeks, that anybody can catch them bite is going to happen near the shoreline. So,
yeah, they're not quite pushed up on shore. At least not that we've noticed. Because I was actually out with Geoff last week, and we tried looking for that topwater bite, but it is not happening yet. Even though, like we said, we're coming up on July, and usually I feel like, especially as hot as it's been 90s for a few weeks. But at least on this body of water, they are not going on top.
But do you feel like they're slowly moving up in the water column? Because today, I mean, when we were fishing, I felt like it was mostly everything was pretty close to the top.
I feel like the rain had more to do with that.
So if you guys were wondering, we got completely soaked this morning. What was the forecast? Like 50% chance of rain, possible thunderstorm, a little bit of wind. It was like,
yeah, I think it was like 5 to 7 mile an hour wind. It was
bullshit.
Only supposed to sprinkle for like an hour.
Bullshit.
And it was supposed to accumulate like 0.01 or something like
Horseshit.
that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, we'll be fine. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Yeah, we got soaked.
Yeah, I think it was raining right when we got here, or before we even got here. It started raining.
Yeah.
And it probably didn't stop till, 10 o'clock.
I think that's when the best bites started picking up, was when the rain kind of stopped. But we were freezing our asses off, and none of us were complaining because we didn't want to look like a bunch of pansies.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm a big boy. I'm pretty chunky, and I stay pretty warm. I was a little frigid this morning.
I was cold.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, but I was cold.
I know. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want you guys to be like, whatever, man. I didn't want to get the clown effect on of being a pansies, but it was a little chilly, even though it was 80 degrees. It was in the 80s, but yet the rain, the wind a little bit just made it a little rougher than it should have been, I think, this morning.
Right. But we stuck it out.
Yeah, I was going to say it almost got dicey. It almost got dicey because there was some lightning. We heard some thunder cracks, but it was, I feel like it was far enough away where it's like, oh, it's a little concerning, but I think we're all right.
Yeah, I did the second counts in my head. Like when you see the
Did
light.
ya?
Yeah, when you see so if you guys don't know, if you see the lightning, the light, and then you count per second, that's how many miles away it is from you.
Yeah, like 1,000,
Yeah.
2, 1,000.
So I was like, it's a couple miles away. We're still okay.
Usually, if I see it striking the ground, I will get off the lake.
Gotcha.
And I know that's not a safe way to play it.
Yeah.
But in my head, it's the way that I feel safer, I guess.
We're still alive. We're doing the podcast.
It was staying up
Yeah.
in the air, and I was like, you know what? Okay, we'll try it.
And so these gentlemen went out last week, and I was out of town with the family on a family trip, and of course, Fishing Kit had to show me some amazing pictures of their catch, and then I was checking out Backyard Baitshop's website. That was awesome, just seeing their pictures and what I missed out. So I was more than grateful. I was like, Fishing Kit, like, are you busy next Friday? I'm like, shit, no, let's go fishing, because I saw the fish they caught. So it was, like I just said, I really do appreciate you bringing us out here, Geoff, and giving me an opportunity to get on a good wiper bite. I haven't had.
Absolutely, man.
It was awesome.
I mean, I was glad to have both of you. You're both great guys, and it just feels natural. Like, me and Kit were talking last week because we never have actually hung out and fished together in person. We've chatted back and forth through Messenger or whatever. And just meeting up and fishing together just felt natural, like we had known each other for years. And it was the same way with you today. It just felt natural. And good people attract good people, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. Man.
Yeah, last week, like, I even asked Geoff, I was like, is this the first time we've, like, fished together? And we're like, yeah. I was like, weird. It feels like I've known you for so long.
Yep, that's exactly how
it
it
was
went.
super natural. I guess, like you said, good people bring good people.
Yeah. So, I mean, if my brother-in-laws are watching this, yes, I caught fish. It wasn't. I wasn't not just taking pictures of Fishing Kid and Geoff catching this. They always give me a hard time because. So my brother-in-law came, I think 3 weeks ago, and we went fishing at a. Let's just call it a Dead Sea. If you guys don't, if you know, you know. Mm-hmm. So, we're fishing there, and it was literally the Dead Sea.
Yeah,
so,
you're not missing out if you're trying to figure out where it's at.
Yeah, don't even try to figure it out because it was the Dead Sea, and of course I didn't have a bathroom emergency this time. So if you guys are wondering, the brother-in-law's, I think they texted me the other day. They're just like, you know what? Because I told them I was going to go on a boat today. They go, well, Gourds, that's my nickname. They're like, better make sure you bring toilet paper. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Don't worry, I got some in the boat.
Yeah. So FYI, everybody, if you guys go fishing, shout out to Sean, Saki Fishing. Thank you for keeping toilet paper on your boat 2 weeks ago.
That's a good man right there.
And he put it inside of a Ziploc bag.
Yep.
That's smart. Dude, I was like, oh God, that's genius right there.
Waterproof container.
Yeah. So, you guys were wondering, I had to cut the fishing journey short that day with my brother-in-law. Sorry, brother. But I had to. Nature called. All right. Simple.
He couldnn't make it back to the boat. Right?
No, I couldn't make it. And there was no bathroom around. And it was, this is the thing. So because there was a boat of 3 fishing gentlemen in front of us. And this is the thing. There was nowhere to go, obviously. So I was like, okay, Sean, you got to bank it. You got to just go, man. Just go. So Sean, shout out to Sean. He literally cut them off. And they were casting. So I don't know if they knew or could care less that I had an emergency, guys. But they were casting literally in front of us because they were like pissed off because we were trying to get to the bank and we cut them off. And I was like, dude, it's an emergency. I mean, worst case scenario, I'm going to go right in front of you guys. I don't think you want that.
I don't think you want that.
Exactly. But if they listen, sorry, guys. That was the reason why we cut you guys off.
Luckily, that didn't have to happen today. So do you have toilet paper in your boat?
Me?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's one thing I got to remember. Yeah. Bring toilet paper.
In Ziploc bag.
Just leave it in the boat, right?
Or just buy one of those containers, those waterproof containers just like this one, because it fits a roll of toilet paper.
Because you're on the water, so if that shit gets wet, it's pointless.
Yeah.
So you got to keep it dry. You got to keep that toilet paper dry.
Absolutely.
That's crucial.
I don't know. I might do the wet wipes. Are you a wet wipes kind of guy or just strictly toilet paper?
Just toilet paper for me.
I think if I'm out in the bush, I like wet wipes.
It would probably help. It'd make it easier.
That's of course. That's like prima donna stuff, man.
And then you don't have to worry if they get wet.
Yeah.
You just keep them in their little containers.
That's true. All right.
So I might do the wet wipes in my own boat.
You might be onto something. Wet wipes. There you go.
So, Grandy caught fish today.
I caught fish
today. Kit was just romping on us.
Yeah.
At the beginning.
Well, I think he would have really, because this is the thing. I appreciate Fishing Kit. the reason why his numbers game, he could have just destroyed us. But he decided, you know what, I'm going to bait dunk a little bit. So he took a good 30, 45-minute break to just mess around, cut up some bait, and just bait dunk for a little bit. So I think he, in a sense, he was just letting us catch up.
Giving us a chance, absolutely.
I appreciate that, man.
And he really wanted to catch a catfish
totally.
with a catfish rod.
But, you know,
it's not okay to catch it on his spinning rod. He's got to catch it on the catfish
100%. But you had the opportunity, because I think that first stop today that we were at, there was a lot of catfish.
There was a lot of catfish.
But surprised that they didn't want our jigs, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I lost one catfish today on the jig.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
Are you sure that wasn't a wiper, though?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it did this thing.
Not the one that ran?
What's this thing? So our audio list, what is that?
Okay, so Geoff's got a live scope set up on his boat. And from my own experience, ice fishing for catfish, they say with live scope you can kind of tell what fish are what. That's partly true, because a lot of times it's just blobs.
It's more about behavior, I think.
Behavior, and like if it's a long, skinnier fish, well, what catfish do is they swim up to your lure and they basically go straight up and down, and they kind of go side to side. And I was talking to Geoff about it. Like, they'll come up and they'll kind of rub their bodies on your jig, kind of tasting it, because with the catfish, they got taste buds all over their bodies. So they're trying to feel it out, and from that behavior, I can kind of tell, like, okay, this is a catfish. Versus like a wiper, they just, once they show up, they're zooming in. There's no second guessing what kind of fish that is.
Absolutely. Especially if they're chasing, because they're all over it. I mean,
I think today, by being on your boat, Geoff, and seeing live scope, I'm really today was the first time I've actually seen live scope on open water. I was
fun,
able
isn't it?
Oh, super fun, guys. If you guys have not done it, please do it. But the fish behavior is 1,000% correct on that, because I instantly, by about an hour or 2 hours in, I figured out, okay, now I know exactly what a drum acts like. I can tell that that's a drum, and then I can tell that that's a wiper or a white bass instantly. Just the way they dart, the way they check your lure outs and everything, because I felt like if it's just one of those things that you can't tell the difference. I mean, honestly, can you tell the difference of what size or what kind of fish it is from the screen?
If they turn directly sideways
and stop right there, so
like
you can
a
muskie,
you know it's a muskie because number one size.
Yeah,
and they have their own special shape. You know what I mean?
But today, the way you can't, I couldn't tell, but the way they were acting, you could tell that, okay, that's a drum. We knew like instantly those are drums on the bottom.
Yep. Well, once we started catching them, we knew.
Yeah, we didn't know until we started catching
once
them.
You start catching
but they
them,
do have a specific like size and behavior at this lake that you almost know when it is. But then you get every once in a while you get like a crappie or a walleye.
Yeah,
that's
you
true.
know what I mean? We didn't know that walleye.
Shout out, baby! Caught a walleye today, guys. I was the only one. 18-inch walleye. I was the only one caught a walleye, and that's gonna be dinner, Daddy.
And then I caught a white crappie, which I did not expect.
That came out of nowhere.
You know, and I didn't know that they were a walleye or a white crappie. It was just
true.
Another blob on the screen that we were fishing for. But the behavior is definitely what keys me in on what species of fish it is.
Right.
Because I fish brushy a lot, and perch. I'll say this: at the beginning of the year, I could tell what was a perch, what was a bluegill, and what was a walleye. And it was very strange. It might sound crazy, but so like a perch, I call it doing a wheelie. It would like swim along the bottom, and it's like this, with its head up and its tail down. The walleye would creep right along the bottom. I mean, they'd stay really close to the bottom, and I knew because I was catching these fish. And the bluegill would just like dart back and forth. And I call it running, like they're running back and forth. You know what I mean? And obviously the shape, the walleyes have the long, slender shape. But it's hard to tell a walleye from a perch if they're similar size.
Yeah.
But by that behavior, I could tell that they were different.
Right.
Different fish.
Yeah, once you start catching them, and then you can kind of figure out what fish is what. But
kind of put it together.
I think it's hard to say if you just go out there fresh, you haven't caught a fish yet, and then you're like, okay, I wonder what these are.
Absolutely.
Except for, I guess, a wiper. There's just something about the way that because we see drum, catfish, carp, But when a wiper shows up, we know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
It's
here they
The
are.
real fish is here.
You know?
So on the live scope, that's what was the coolest thing I saw today. It was like I never seen how a wiper reacts in open water or whatever, and the way it gets you excited.
It's neat, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it gets your adrenaline going. Like your heart starts thumping because you know that's a wiper. Just the way it's just zooming in. It's so aggressive.
Very aggressive.
And it's ready to pounce. And you're like, what the hell? And then you can see when it actually swipes at your stuff. And if it misses, you're like, oh, because you can see it. So it's kind of cool. That was probably one of the coolest things I saw today.
And the thing with live scope, there is a slight delay. And when a wiper hits, you'll see it, you'll feel it. It's already happened by the time you see it on the screen.
Because they're so fast. If
Yep.
they're super aggressive and they want it right now, it's like that one instance where I looked like a half a second or a second later, and I had already felt it and missed it, and I just seen it on the screen when I turned to the right, and it's like, that's a pretty big delay.
Yeah.
Is that something that I can change in settings? I don't know.
That's what I was going to ask, because I was wondering, because during ice season, I don't think you have that much of a delay, do you?
There's a delay.
Oh, there's
even
there?
through the ice and stuff.
Okay. Because I know I have the old Panoptics. It's a huge delay.
Yeah, the Panoptics is super delayed.
Bruh.
Like even
I've never
it's
played
probably
with
at
it.
least twice as long.
Really?
delay.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be frustrating.
Because even though you say twice as long, it's like literally maybe half a second. That half a second is still, if in your eyes when
It's
you
enough,
see it, it's
yeah.
enough to make a big difference. And it is. And but yeah, you're right. I was like, I'm wondering if you can't fix. I don't know if there's specific settings to fix that delay. I don't know.
I think there probably is where you can make less of a delay. I just don't remember exactly where it's at.
I think
I'd have to play with it.
the more settings you dial back, like versus trying to think of what settings, because there's like filters you can turn on to like help clear up the image,
like the bottom, whatever.
Yeah, the bottom or the
bottom fill. That's what it is.
I think they also have like a high water column filter thing, and you know there's a
Noise
bunch of noise.
rejection.
Yep, noise rejection. The more of that stuff you dial back, it basically has less computations it has to do.
Because that's all it is. It's just a computer.
Yeah.
Transducer and a computer and a screen.
So basically, the more of that stuff you turn off, it doesn't have to compute stuff. So
It's
the
faster.
delay is not as pronounced.
Absolutely.
That's why I'd rather deal with a bit of noise just so I can have that better reaction. But most of the time, when you get a bite, if it's a wiper, you
If
set
it's
the
a
hook.
wiper, yeah.
You set the hook, then you look at the screen, and then you see the whole thing replay
Oh, yeah.
right in front of your face.
If you guys are wondering, like, how are you guys all able to see this shit in open water? We were vertical jigging.
We were.
So just so you guys know, if you have not done it, go try and do it. It's super fun. And vertical jigging, I mean, technically, we were ice fishing in open water. That's how I felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Yeah, and then obviously having the live scope, it's real time. You see everything. You see your lure. You see. And this was the cool thing about the way we were fishing today is that I was able to see Geoff's lure. He's behind me. I saw Kit's lure. He's in front of me on the boat, and then on top of that, we get to see what he's doing, what I'm doing, what he's doing, and then you get to see how the fish are reacting. All three of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the cool thing. It's like, okay, he swiped, missed mine, because I think it happened a couple times. And they swipe and maybe miss Kit's, miss mine, or it hits Geoff's, or vice versa. And it was so cool to actually see that fish is still going to keep moving and still hungry, even if he misses yours. And it will go, and then you just keep jigging the people behind you or in a line. Just keep jigging because it will actually hit you.
Yeah. Or if, let's say, Geoff, he's in the back of the boat, I'm in the front, Jeff's distracted for whatever reason.
I was just
I'm
thinking
like,
about that.
Geoff, you got fish on you. You're like, oh.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's
Oh,
true,
okay,
yeah.
all right. Yeah, we're all looking out for
Yep.
each other.
That is true, though.
So-
Yeah, see, that's like giving somebody a heads up of what's going on and what's, hey. So, I mean, is that cheating? I don't know. We still had to get the fish to bite.
No, it's not cheating. It's just being able. It's just getting more information.
Yeah,
basically.
just more
Yeah,
information.
I agree. And it makes
Yeah.
it more enjoyable. I think in the new generation, I'm a gamer. I used to be a gamer, so this is the closest thing I can to a video game because I got too many kids now, so I don't get to play video games. So now I get a combo. I get a combo fishing and gaming. I'm like, shit, count me in anytime, dude.
Yeah, because you're watching a screen and you're trying to get stuff to react on the screen.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I
You're
guess.
trying to win the game.
Yeah, trying to win the game.
It was, yeah.
Every fish is a game to win.
Speaking of winning, I do. Oh, here I did ATM a little bit.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did ATM a
You
little
ready to
bit.
settle up?
Yeah, I'll settle up here in a little bit here.
Not right now.
Well, fine, we'll settle. So,
$3 rule.
so Geoff has a $3 rule.
Oh, I got my stuff in the
Uh-oh.
in the car.
Kit got first fish.
Yeah, first fish.
Kit automatically.
So how much do I
gets
owe him?
$1.
$1 for
Yeah.
Kit. All right. And then who caught the most fish today?
That'd be Geoff.
I pulled up.
Man,
And to think I was at like, what was I at? You were at like 9.
It was
and
9 to
had
1.
fish.
Yeah, 9 to
It
1.
was.
Oh, this isn't going good. I'm getting outfished in my boat again.
what's the last dollar for? What's the last?
Biggest.
Biggest.
Oh, son of a. So it looks like Geoff kicked
20
our
incher.
ass. 20. I was
Not a huge fish, but it was big enough.
It was big enough. I thought I was
Made
gonna
out
win that
good.
one because I was at 19 and a
I
half.
owe Geoff $2.
Yes, sir.
That was fun, man.
That is fun.
That
It's a
is
nice
fun.
little game to play
Yeah.
with friends.
It's like I said, guys. I have not had a good bite. If you guys not seen my video, I did just release a video today. I completely got skunked and I caught nothing but bass at a pond. So at least I tried.
It's something. It's better than drum.
Well, speaking of drum, today wasn't too bad catching the drum.
If we need a drum for bait today, we were in good shape.
Yeah.
They were perfect size, perfect bait size.
And I think it was probably mostly me catching drum. Grandy caught a couple, and
I caught a
that's
couple.
how I got my numbers up. You know,
Yeah.
I just caught drum.
Yeah. We're going to have to, maybe not count drums.
Well, we're not counting drum. We're gonna specific species, targeted species. is what
Game speed.
Well, it is a game. Drums are considered a game fish.
Is it?
I believe so.
we're- freshwater drum. Yeah, it should be because the
You
saltwater
only,
drum is
you only
awesome.
consider it a trash fish because
Depends who you ask. Depends who you
it's a
ask.
freshwater fish. It's a game
Right.
fish.
It could be a freshwater fish and not be a game fish.
Well, what constitutes a game fish then?
We're waiting.
Crickets.
See, because I think it is a game fish. I think anything that you can, I don't know. We might have to ask.
Is a carp a game
DNR.
fish?
A carp, not a Asian carp. I know Asian carp's not considered.
What
a
about
game fish.
common carp?
I think
Is that
it
a
might
game
be.
fish?
Is it might be?
What defines game?
That's a good question.
It is a good question because I don't know. That's why I was quiet too.
Because it's like a deer, that's game, right?
Yeah. I think a game fish is considered a game fish if it's not invasive. That's what I thought.
So all of them,
All of
for
them
the
except
invasive.
for probably anything.
I
that's
don't
considered-
think that's the right definition. for it.
You might be right. But I'm throwing it out there because I think unless it's something that you do tournaments for, is that what considered a game fish then? I don't know. Obviously, man, we're not
Well-
tournament guys, so I don't know.
I'm just trying to think about this. If it's not bait, it's a game fish, right?
Yeah, that's what I would. Well, then every fish. Well, I don't know.
Because you can't snag bait or game fish,
All right, Google.
technically.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's see.
You
Game
can't
fish.
snag. Okay, that might be right. You
You're
can't
not allowed to
as long as you can't
keep.
snag it.
Yeah.
Let's Google
I don't
it.
know.
Let's see what the
I'm
Google answer is.
Google answer to game fish.
Okay, the first definition from Oxford Dictionary: a fish caught by anglers for sport, especially in freshwater, salmon and trout, and in the sea. It's just naming off examples.
So if you're
Billfish,
targeting them, it's a game fish, basically.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then yes, I'm targeting drum.
So,
It's
yeah.
a game fish.
You know what I want?
It's a game fish.
You know what I want to figure out at this lake is how to catch those big old torpedo carp. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
they like come in the screen. They're just these big blobs.
Yeah,
that are
big
just kind of
blobs.
hanging out.
They
at the
kind
top
of look
the
like
water column.
dolphins.
Yeah, they kind of.
And on the live show, like, oh, is this a dolphin or what?
What do they eat?
Well, they're always sucking bugs off the top of the water.
Well, there
Fly.
you go.
They're like omnivores. They
We were talking
eat
about fly
everything.
fishing. Yeah.
They-
I've caught carp on jigs. I've caught them on live bait. I've caught them
Yep.
on about everything.
so anything.
They're
It's just-
opportunistic like everything
There you
else.
go. Opportunistic.
Yeah, they're just less inclined to hit a lure.
Why does carp get such a bad rep? Because they're so fun.
I don't know because they're bony. Maybe.
Well, that's just eating. If you're
Yeah.
consuming
Oh yeah,
them.
as far as catching them,
Catching
they're,
them.
they're an absolute blast.
Targeting them is not that
And they will
easy
challenge
either.
you. I mean, seriously challenge you depending on what you're using. you know?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
If you're fishing for crappie on medium light rod and you catch a carp, I mean, you're in for
Right.
a ride.
I guess they can ruin fisheries because they will drain bodies of water just to get rid of carp.
True.
For sure, I can understand that, but
Because they eat vegetation, correct?
I think they stir up the bottom is what
Okay.
they do.
but I mean, if you were to target a carp, they're just as difficult as any other species to catch.
Right.
No?
But if you had to pick one, would you rather target a carp or a wiper?
Something I can eat, probably.
Something I can prefer to eat. Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
prefer to eat
because
not can eat.
I consume the fish. So
Yeah.
yes, and then on top, I think it's just they just got a bad rep for some reason.
They do got a bad rap, but there's a huge following for carp fishing.
Yes, I've
And
seen
it's-
that too.
and it's picking up.
It
yeah.
is.
It's
Fly-
definitely gaining traction.
We should fly fish for carp one.
We
time.
have in Fort Dodge. Well, it's actually Lehigh, but they have Lehigh Days. I don't remember if it's around Lehigh Days or not, but they have a carp tournament every year. So people go out and just catch as many pounds of carp as they can, and they have this little tournament every single year.
Well, I
It
see.
should be coming up soon too.
They have one here in Des Moines too at Gray's Lake.
Really?
Yeah, I think they call it Carp Days.
What do they do with it? They just catch and release though? Or
No, I think
No,
the goal is to remove the carp.
Oh, okay.
And they'll use them. I would assume they donate them to somebody who has, like, let's say, snapping turtles, or somebody who traps, because
Gotcha.
the trappers use a lot of carp for bait and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They could donate them to people who want to consume them. Which buffalo is it gets a bad rap because it's really good.
Yeah, buffalo's underrated.
I
It's
hunt.
really underrated.
I agree with you guys.
buffalo's underrated.
Buffalo's meat is one of the most underrated fish out there, and it's not as bony as carp.
right.
I think
You
I think
think
they're
so?
pretty bony.
Not like carp. Carp got bones like sticking.
Well,
every,
I think the
every-
buffalo's kind of like that as well.
Yeah, the buffalo is
It's-
like that too. They're,
It's hard to get a decent.
But I think
amount
they're
of meat off of
meatier.
them.
But the softer their meat, that's sure.
yeah,
they're
but
like-
there's still a lot of bones in it.
I guess you're right.
It's not like you can just fillet them. I guess is
True.
what I'm saying.
I think that's the biggest thing that holds me back from like keeping a buffalo. It's like, I
'Cause they're
don't
so
care to
mild.
clean them.
Yeah, they're so mild. They're like super white.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the thing.
Just
Yeah,
really
it's white
clean.
meat. It's
It's white
really
meat, right?
white
There's no
meat.
blood like bloodlines in it. Really?
No, they have a huge bloodline.
Do they?
But you don't get to it because of all the bones.
I think that's it. Yeah, that's probably why then. Okay.
Yeah, they're
I've just thrown that out there.
yeah. The meats, as far as bones, is kind of like carp. They got all those. I don't even know what they call them. They
Like bones off of bones.
Yeah,
Or they
like-
split.
Yeah,
They
they're
form.
like a bone with like 20 other little bones sticking off of them.
Yeah.
So that's what holds me back from like keeping buffalo, because I do not want to deal with cleaning them. They got scales kind of like a carp, these big, thick, chunky scales, and all the bones. But if somebody cleaned it, and like, hey,
You'd
I
be
fried
all
up
for
some
it.
buffalo.
Heck yeah.
I'm like, oh, heck
Let's
yeah.
Where's it at? Fill my plate.
I guess that's why people like the ribs, because the ribs, other than the main rib bones, they don't have all those little crazy bones in them.
Interesting. Don't be telling my in-laws that. They love well, not my in-laws, my in-laws' friends. They love the buffalo, keeping it. Don't
right.
release it. Stop releasing it, Kit. I get yelled at all the time. Tell Kit, stop releasing it.
Anyways, I don't think Geoff introduced himself yet.
Oh, yeah.
So who is Geoff, and what is Backyard Bait Shop?
Backyard Bait Shop is just a guy who loves to fish and wanted to make his own jigs because he was losing too many jigs, basically.
Yeah, Geoff makes a lot of his own stuff.
I do, and it kind of came from a combination of a few different people. I've got a guy I've known for 25 plus years. He taught me how to catfish, and he makes all his own stuff. He makes all of his own jigs. He makes all of his own weights. Big cat fisherman. My buddy actually calls him my fishing father, which is great because, yeah, it's pretty cool. But, no, he's taught me a lot about catfishing. He taught me how to make my own sinkers and make my own jigs. Well, he always used gamakatsu hooks because he uses quality stuff. And he likes to fish for big fish, so he wants it to hold up. So he kind of got me into the pouring. And then I actually lived in Jacksonville for 5 or 6 years, and I moved away. I came back to Iowa, and my brother got into fishing after I left because my brother lives in Jacksonville. And he's got an old-timer fishing buddy that is similar to my fishing father who makes all of his own jigs and all of this. So he got into pouring jigs, and I kind of took the combination of these three people, my brother and Rick and Buddy, and kind of combined it into an addiction, really. I mean, it really is. It is. I've got a lot of molds. I've got like 35 molds. But I just wanted that. I wanted that quality hook. To be honest with you, I didn't want to pay for jigs anymore because I was losing so many. I mean, when you're fishing in Florida, you're fishing oyster beds, you're fishing docks, you're fishing shipwrecks, you're fishing rope. Everything is in the water because it's brackish water, salt water. And so you're hanging up on everything. So to cut the cost down of buying jigs that cost like $2.50 a piece, you have to do something. And what I did was I started pouring jigs. Well, it was just, out of the garage deal, making them for my friends, making them for myself. And I started selling bait out of my garage. So I just called it my backyard bait shop, right?
Hence the name.
Okay. So then I was like, you know what? So then it evolved to, okay, I wear hats all the time. You hardly ever see me without a hat. So why would I buy somebody else's hat? I mean, I like to support other local companies, but why would I buy someone else's hat when I could just make my own with my own logo on it?
Yeah.
So I got a hold of my buddy. I actually found a catfish online that I liked, but then I took that and I drew it out myself. I kind of changed some things, and then he took what I had and drew it out because he's a graphic designer, so he changed it. He made it look really good. And then he put my name on it, and I said, I'm just going to start making my own hats, right? Well, then I went from hats to shirts to now I'm just making jigs for whoever wants a quality hook and a jig, basically. And that's not knocking anybody who likes to use light wire. I just don't personally like light wire because the kind of fish that I like to catch like to bend out light wire, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I understand.
And I've had some people tell me, well, those are too expensive. Well, I put a lot. I put the money where it counts because I have to pay for this hook, And brain fart real quick. I'm sorry. I've had a few people say, well, I can count on one hand how many times a fish has straightened out my hook, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, well, I don't want to count on one hand how many fish have straightened out my hook because those could have been 5 of your personal best.
And it's like, what kind of fish are you fishing for,
Right.
I mean, if all I do is fish for crappies and bluegills, I mean, if you're straightening out hooks 5 times, like that's crazy when you're fishing for those kind of fish.
Right.
But if you're going after big fish.
If you're fishing for big fish, I think you should be using big hooks.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, you're
Stronger hooks, yeah.
So to that, I just say, I can't count on one hand how many times I've lost a fish to a straightened hook because my hooks don't straighten out. And if you do, I will say, if you do get them snagged in a rock and you're using like 10, 12, or 14-pound line, and you like wrap the line around your hand and you pull it slowly, you will break these hooks. I mean, they have their own fault as well, but you're not going to straighten out a hook to a fish, I guarantee it. I never have. I shouldn't say I guarantee it because, somebody will have like an 80-pound flathead on that, break my hook. But you know what I'm saying. So I just like a really strong hook, and I kind of came from these guys teaching me a few things to I just make a bunch of stuff. And now, like I said, I have a bunch of molds because I like trying new styles. Everybody likes a different style jig, so I try to accommodate that. Especially if somebody's trying to order like 100 jigs, I will specifically order that mold to make those jigs because not that I'm going to make a bunch of profit on it, but I'm going to now have that mold for the future if they want to come back and buy more, or if somebody else says, hey, I like that jig style, I want some of those. And that's how it's been with like the teardrop and the freestyle lately, because I just bought those for a few specific people, and now people just love the teardrop and the freestyle. They do. I mean, it looks really good, especially when you put a 3D eye on it and clear coat it and make it a pretty color. It really does look good. But plain jigs will catch you fish too. They don't have to look pretty.
It's funny because I'm trying to think of how did I get to ordering jigs from you? Because let me rewind back.
Let me insert real quick.
Okay.
I think I know how, because when Sean asked me to be a part of Sake Fishing, the pro staff team, they did a cleanup at the shelter down here. This was like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, yep.
So what I did was I donated a pack of jigs to every single person on the Sake team. Even the people that didn't show up, I gave him jigs for everybody on the Sake team and said, here, give these to these guys. The ones that show up to the thing, give them to them. The other ones, if you can mail them to them. And I think that's the first time you probably got my jigs in your hand. And then I wasn't even using Gamakatsu.
Right.
I was using a black nickel hook, which is very strong, but I was getting a cheaper version because I was trying to keep the cost down. But eventually I said, I don't want to sell something that I wouldn't personally use myself.
Yeah.
Well, not that I wouldn't use it, but I don't prefer to use. I wanted to use the Gamakatsus because I really like them. But I think that's where you probably got my first jigs, and then I think you contacted me like, it might have been 6 months later or something. But you were also looking for somebody who makes shad head in pearl.
Yep.
Or should I say that on?
Kit color.
Kit color. Yeah. Custom kit color.
We'll mute that part.
Kit has 2 custom colors, and there's not a lot of people that get his colors, but there are a few select people that get them.
Yeah.
And you were looking for not a replacement, but if you ran out of these certain jigs that you like, I'm not even going to say the size. I'm just going to say that you were looking for a backup just in case you run out of these specific jigs. I remember that.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you contacted me, like, can you make these? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah, that was, 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
ago now.
Does that seem right?
Yeah, I think so because, let me go back even further. So that's kind of when, I'd say 10 years ago, that's when I really started getting into wiper fishing, maybe even longer than that. But, there's this bait shop on the south side. This old retired, I think he was retired because he was really old. He'd be smoking every time I'd go in there. But he was running
Awesome bait shop.
a bait shop out of his garage.
That's the good stuff,
And he
man.
sold these shad head jig heads with these, they weren't wire hooks. They were stout hooks.
Black
And-
nickel hooks.
Yep. And then, before that, I would go to Bass Pro. You go get like a 3-pack of more stout jig heads.
$10.
Yeah, it'd be like $2-3 one jig head. And this guy, he'd be selling 10 for, I don't know, maybe like $5, if even that. But I got to talking to him. I was like, hey, like if I put in like a big order, like let's say 50 jig heads, how much do you want? He said, oh yeah, just give me $20. I was like, holy shit!
What a guy! Yeah, what a guy!
And so
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, because I don't know, like he just knew whenever I go in there, I'm like, yeah, I need a pack of jig heads. The ones that he made with the stout hooks. It's like, oh, wipers must be running then, right? I was like, yes. Like he knew why I bought those jig heads.
Yeah.
So he was kind of my jig head guy for a few years, and then unfortunately he had some health problems. Like I said, he'd be puffing away every time we go in there. He ended up passing away.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, rest his soul. And then I was getting to a point after my order of 50 jig heads or whatever was dwindling down.
That was when you came across me.
Yeah, and then I was like, that's when I
wild.
reached out to Geoff. I was like, hey, I heard you pour jig heads. Well, I already got some jig heads from him. Like, then that's when I started asking, hey, can you pour these with this head? And, and then the rest is history. Ever since then, Geoff's jig heads are the only jig heads I'll order by news.
I really appreciate that. I do.
Yeah.
You don't know how much I appreciate when you say that, because to me, and obviously my kid, because she loves watching Kit. Kit is a big deal. He is a big deal. You know what I mean? And she's mad at me because I came to fish with Kit today.
Oh, boy.
Without her, she's 5. Yeah. But no, that means a lot to me. It really does.
So people that have been watching me for a while, they already know. Like, backyard bait shop.
Right.
Those are the jig heads I use.
That's awesome. And I haven't officially went to like an LLC or anything yet. So I'm still on the fence of what I want to do there. I really need to. I really should, because this year was the busiest I've ever been.
That's a good thing.
I went for like 8 weeks straight, and that's all I did was poured and painted jig heads. And then the good thing about not being a business is I can say, okay, I'm fishing for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not taking orders for a while. But I might get to the point, if it picks up even more next year, that I have to actually, by fall, I'll probably have made a decision whether I want to pursue the LLC or not.
Yeah, I think, well, that's kind of how these small businesses, like local stuff, like we grow together.
Mm-hmm.
Like as you grow, well, hopefully as I grow, I'm like, hey, yeah, I use backyard Baitshop Jigheads. Hit this guy up.
Heck yeah.
Then hopefully that sends some people, at least one or two people here and there.
And I can be like, hey, oh, you like watching fishing videos? Dude, check it out.
Yeah.
You like listening to us talk about catching fish? Check out the podcast.
There you go.
That's just the way it goes.
And actually, Grandy, when he showed up, was like, oh, man, Grandy wasn't using backyard bait shops yet.
He got to use one today, though.
He got to use one
He told me he was scared of the hook.
Like you were scared of getting hooked yourself?
That's what I was wondering what he meant.
No. Yeah, because that shit was sharp.
That
shit was sharp.
That's the point.
I was like, holy shit, okay.
That's the point.
And it never lost its dullness or the sharpness. So I was like, okay. And this is the first time I've actually really used the hooks, and it makes a big difference. Because we were catching, what would you say, maybe like 3-pounders, 4-pounder maybe fish today.
Is that what you think?
3 to 4.
I'm not very good at judging weight or length.
I'd say a 20-inch wiper is about like 3 pounds.
Okay.
3 to 4 maybe.
I could tell you right now.
Says the guy that doesn't weigh his fish.
Yeah, I know, right? I had confidence that your hook was going to be just fine on the next fish.
Yeah.
My line, on the other hand, was not.
This is true.
Because my line kept getting frayed today, and I didn't check it. Well, we were
heartbreakers.
It was it was a lot of heartbreakers.
At least a couple.
Was it 2 heartbreakers?
It was 2 for me.
Heavy fish.
Yeah.
2 heavy fish. One is because we're already catching. I was actually catching fish, and I didn't check the leader, and I think that was the second one, and I think it was frayed, and it probably hit a spot, and he just broke off.
Because the first one he just lost, right?
Yeah, the first one
break.
It broke. It broke
did
off.
it?
No, the first one broke off.
Yeah, because he had to retie his.
Yeah,
leader.
I had to retie.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
So it broke off. And then that's when I started using the backyard. That's when I started using this gentleman's hooks, and then I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I it's one of those things where it's a confidence thing.
It is.
And I think I was like, okay, let me try this shit out. And then I was trying it out, like it was landing me fish, and like you guys were saying, man, that shit was not bending. It was like it was legit. It's completely legit because we were catching good sized fish. They're fun fighting fish, and even taking the hooks out of the mouth and everything, it's like nothing was bending. Because I usually, whenever I buy those cheaper hooks, whenever you're taking the hook out or whatever, you can feel it. Yes,
yeah.
You can feel it like shit, like it just totally made the hook maybe just a little bit move.
Mm-hmm. A little offset to it.
Yes, but today I literally felt like all right, it stayed. And when I took the hook out, I was like, all right, that hook is not gonna move.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if you were using like wired hooks today, you would have had a few bend out. Yeah, you might not have broken off, but you would have lost the fish, and your hook would have been, 45 degrees.
Yes.
I think so. I agree with you on that, 100%.
Another reason I like to use these hooks is because you can sharpen them. So our last trip, I don't remember if it was our last trip or the trip before when I was alone, but I used one jig and caught like 30-something fish, right? 30-something wipers.
Yeah.
And I didn't even top off the point at all. That's impressive. Because wipers and anything with a fairly hard mouth tend to bend that point over.
Yeah.
And if it does get bent over slightly, you can sharpen it easily. I know a lot of people like sickle hooks, and I'm not going to knock on them here, but I will tell you I don't prefer sickle hook because they're hard to sharpen. And they are very sharp when they start. But it's easy to bend that point over because the point is so fine, and it's light wire that it bends over after a few fish, and then you end up losing a bunch of fish because your point is bent over and your hook isn't sharp. Well, they're pretty hard to sharpen in my opinion, so I just prefer not to use them because I think I might actually try some, but I think Gamakatsu makes a big river hook that is actually a 90-degree style that is similar to a sickle hook. And I might order like a pack of 25 and check them out. But as far as like the Eagle Claw light wires, I have a hard time using them myself. of course, I'm using gamakatsu 90% of the time anyway, unless I'm fishing for like crappie or something. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I actually had the same jig head from our last outing tied on.
There you go.
I caught like, I'd say
crazy.
20 fish, at least 20 fish last time. I caught more fish last time.
Over 20 fish.
Because I caught 27 today, and I caught more last week. Yeah, we had like...
It was crazy.
Yeah, between me and Geoff last week, it was probably like 40 or 50 fish.
Damn. I would guesstimate, being conservative, I'd say 40 fish. And probably
Actually,
more
I'd say
like
even
50.
more because I caught more last week, and I caught 26 or 27 today.
Conservatively, I'd say 40 easily last week.
And I had that same jig head on, tied on today, because people that have been following me for a while, I do not get caught up like switching jig heads and stuff. I'll use whatever's tied on there. And I don't know. I think it's just lazy. People would say stubborn, but I think it's just lazy.
I think you got your money's worth out of that jig is what I think.
It did, after, I don't know, the 30th or 40th fish, it had a kink in it. But I think that was more from me, like
grabbing it
trying
with
to
pliers or
whatever. Grabbing it with pliers. But I probably caught like 10 or 15 fish today before I switched out.
Oh, you did switch today?
Yeah, I did switch out.
And you put another one on?
Yeah, same color.
Same size, same color?
Same size,
Nice.
same color.
Nice.
The kit color.
The kit color. I'm serious. I have 2 jars of paint, and they both say kit on them. So just the bad thing is, I'm horrible for this, but the lighter color, I know exactly how to make that. I can replicate that easily. The darker color, I just threw some crap together one day, and you liked it, and I was like, "Oh, this is Kit's color." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I don't. I kind of know how to make it again, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so I ordered 2 color jig heads from Geoff.
Always
It's that white pearl, and what do you call that purple?
Kit purple.
Kit purple.
Yeah, of course.
I'll order.
Of course.
I try to order about 100 jig heads at a time from Geoff.
Yep.
It'd be like 50 of the white and 50 of the purple.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 colors I mess with, and I don't know what it is about that purple color. It's not that I think the purple catches more fish. It's just I want something light and something dark.
It's your dark color, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a dark color they really like.
Yeah.
And even, I don't know if I'm 100% correct about this, but the guys across the seas, like doing the ice fishing tournaments, I know the guys who do really well, they basically use gold, silver, black, and white. Those are their 4 colors. After just watching a couple videos and them talking about it, they're very simple: gold, silver, black, and white. Because they like the 2 natural colors, the gold and the silver, and then they like their light is white and their dark is black. Or you can just change those up. You can go purple and pearl or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as long as you have a dark it depends on your opinion. But I think dark for dark days and dark water, and then light for light days and light water or clear water. As long as you have that variance there, then you should be taken care of for most situations, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you look in my tackle box, it's just 2 colors.
Is it
pretty
all
much.
pearl and purple?
Yeah, pearl and purple.
Well, what
Oh,
color
that's awesome.
plastics do you normally use, Kit? What color?
White-ish.
White-ish and white.
Hold on. I have his answer. I've been watching these podcasts. The most natural color that you can find for the body of water.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what you always tell them?
Which is
A natural color.
yeah. Normally, well, at least in our bodies of water, actually a lot of bodies of water around
Shad.
the Midwest. Shad is
color.
the forage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shad color, which is a white, silverish,
Silverish,
color. They might have like some gray in there too, depending on the water clarity. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but fish kind of change colors a little bit. Their shades of color, depending on what the water clarity is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And what they're eating.
Yeah, and what they're eating. So it's basically white to like maybe grayish a little bit. And well, Geoff, you already seen like last week Geoff was switching out every like 10, 15 minutes, and I'm just sitting here same color, just reeling up fish one after another.
I've been whacking them when I'm by myself fishing. I have been whacking them with this color that I had Kyle from Renowned Baits make me. It's my specific color, and it's called Stardust. It's like a gold pearl rather than a white pearl with some gold flake in it. And I just love it. I've just been whacking them with it. And then I bring Kit fishing, and they won't bite my jig. They won't bite my
Something, man.
lure. And I'm like, I just sat there and watched him catch fish, and I'm like, okay, give me one. All right, I gotta try one. I gotta try one of these. So now I ordered some. So
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a fluke.
pun intended.
Pun intended.
Yeah, shout outs to Drastic Plastics, man.
Definitely, they make some good plastics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott. We should get him back on the podcast.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
It'd be if we get like a in-person one, I think
Yeah.
that'd be better.
Be nice.
You know, we could sit here on Zoom. It is not the same. Like I'd rather be here with
Yeah,
Geoff
this
versus
is
like
great.
him sitting back home, I'm at home over Zoom. Especially after we just got done fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Yeah, it's perfect. Shelter's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost want to go back out again. I'm not gonna lie, man. I was like, when you get on a bite like that, or when I haven't been on a bite, period, it's nice.
If I was gonna try to go and hit them again today, I haven't done it yet, but my feeling would be closer to dark is where I would want to try. And do it again. I think I would wait the midday out, and maybe like 3 hours before dark, I'd come back out. And I got to do that sometime. I got to come down here in the evening and try it because I still haven't. I started fishing Saylorville last year.
Well, we'll
And-
bleep that one.
You'll
out.
bleep that out.
Well, crap.
It's okay. We'll just bleep it out.
Anyways, so I started fishing this lake last year for the first time, and what I have noticed is it's been a morning bite. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna give you any times, but I haven't tried the evening. I have fished through the afternoon, and I'll tell you it was hot and it was miserable, and there was a few fish caught, but not like this morning.
Yeah, these last two times that I went out with you, midday is kind of where it just tapers off.
Kind of the lull in the bite, I guess. You could
Yeah,
say.
because what was it? We tried to stick it out a little bit longer. We stuck it out last week.
2:30?
Yeah,
Something like
1:30, 2 o'clock, and we basically could have left at I'd say like 12:30.
It was like 95 degrees. Yeah. We're like, we're going to catch some more. No, you're not.
Yeah, we probably caught between noon and 2, maybe 10 fish between the two of us. Maybe 10, if even that.
It's pretty bad that we're complaining about
I
that.
know 10
know.
fish. Like holy cow, that's an awesome
It's
day.
a
But
lot better than most people.
Compared
guys.
to the bite that I've had, and I'm just so amazed by this lake because, like I said, I started fishing it last year, and I shouldn't say this, but I have not had a bad day on this lake. It's been very good to me,
Yeah.
and I appreciate it. It's a long drive, but you know.
Yeah, it's the two times that I've been out, and I've learned just in these two outings, because, well, as some of you know, I'm getting a boat, and then I'm trying to take what I learned in these past 2 days and apply that in my own boat.
Absolutely.
When is that boat coming?
This is a sore subject. I think.
August is the last I heard. This was, I think, June, beginning of June. That's when I last reached out. Hey. Or actually, maybe it was end of May. It was between May and June. I reached out to the dealer. I was like, hey, it's been a while because I was supposed to get the boat in June. I reached out like, oh, well, production's behind, blah, blah, blah. And went from a 2023 model to a 2024. And those are coming later. And the only date that I had was August. Looking at August.
But you're gonna have an awesome boat. That's all I know.
I could get one with carpet sooner, but I'm not gonna give in.
I say good choice.
Yeah, I don't want any carpet in the boat because I don't want to mess with cleaning it.
Are they going to give you any deals by being so late to
Well-
what they anticipated? Or
I'm going for from a 2023 to a 24, same price.
at the same price?
Tell me
Okay.
you want some aqua traction.
Yeah, you got to
Oh.
tell
That
them
would
throw
be
some.
money.
That's what I'm saying. Throw some shit in there.
That would be money. Aqua traction is awesome.
Yeah, do you watch? Oh yeah, you do watch Kansas Angling Experience.
Absolutely, man. Brian uses my jigs.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'm going down there in November, and I'm going to fish those big wipers with him.
Oh, dude,
It's going to be a blast.
That's one guy. Oh, I wouldn't say one guy, but that's one of the guys that I watch, and that's where I learned a lot of stuff from too. It's like, okay,
He's very good.
yeah, he's very
good.
I guess people pay him to go catch wipers.
Really?
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay him to go catch wipers, just because it's just a whole new experience. Not catching wipers is not a whole new experience, but going down, traveling a little bit further south, going with a guide. Like I told you earlier, I hadn't gone with many guides, but I felt like I really just wanted to go fish with Brian, and just the wipers that they're catching and the amount that he catches, he just donks them.
Yeah, doing vertical jigging, casting like in the middle of the lake from what it looks like. But
does that sound familiar?
Yeah,
with like kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, we haven't done the casting out to like a point or anything yet, but that is something I want to be able to replicate here in our area.
Now, what I have done with that, not with you guys, I tried it a little bit today, is when I was alone, I have pitched out and kind of tried to bring fish in.
Yeah.
Just kind of jig up and kind of bring them towards my boat.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it has worked a few times, but I didn't do it much today. And I guess I didn't need to because we had fish by the boat. They kind of came in on their own, I guess.
Yeah, so at least the last 2 trips we haven't found a school of wipers just hanging out in one area. I think if you could find that, then you could cast out to them, just spot lock, I don't know, 50 yards away from them and cast towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And if we found that, I feel like we could do it. But the way the fish have been acting, they're kind of just here and there. We'd have to move around. We basically had to go and find the fish versus they're just there and we got to cast to them.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't tried forward view.
That's true.
To see the fish around us and to pitch to them, because it's so easy to drop down and just kind of. I'm not saying it's like super simple to go out there and just catch fish, but
they hit topwater here too, right?
Yeah, that should be coming up soon.
Yeah, that should be coming up
real soon. I would have thought it would have been going already, and I haven't really ran around the lake to actually see. They could be going on top right now, but I haven't ran around the whole lake to kind of see if I can see some blowups or anything. Mm-hmm. What about your local lake? Is there anything going on for?
They've been blown up on top.
Have they?
Yes, I was out.
So this has got to be close, if not on.
Yeah, it's very close. Actually, the day before me and you went out last week, I was out on my other buddy's boat, and they were busting on top.
Okay.
So when I came here, I was like, oh, maybe there'll be a topwater bite here. And then we tried to go look for that topwater bite. Nope.
I couldn't help myself because I'm like, I'm going to go find this topwater bite. I'm going to take Kit and we're going to find it. And it took, what did it take? Well, I won't even say how long it took, but it took enough minutes to get over to where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking, I know where these fish are sitting at right now. I know how we can catch them, and yet here I am running halfway across the lake just to see if there's a couple fish on the surface. No, we got to turn around and go back and catch fish.
The top water bite is something else, though.
It is. It's such a blast. I mean, it just I have a drive to follow that top water bite when it's going. It's so fun.
And then our goal this year is to get Geoff to catch a wiper and a catfish through the ice.
I'm all for it.
So we got to make that shit happen.
I'm all for it. I know if anybody can do it for me, this guy can do it for me.
He got me on it because I haven't caught a catfish ever, and then he got me on the first catfish through the ice. So.
Now I've caught a few nice catfish through the ice, but it wasn't on purpose most of the time. I have purposely fished for them and caught a few smaller, 1.5, 2 pounders. The best one I caught, I was like fishing for yellow bass or something. And this catfish just came up and just annihilated it. But I have not caught a white bass or a wiper through the ice, and I think that would be just awesome, man. Just
I can make it happen.
Get my knees knocking, you know what I mean?
We'll make it,
with like 4-pound line.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's the one of the things that is so exciting about ice fishing for those type of species of fish. Mm-hmm. Like imagine catching, like you said, a white bass 2-pounder, or catch a wiper 3, 4, 5-pounder with a 32-inch rod and a 4-pound test line.
Be awesome.
Yeah,
it would be awesome. It'd be nice to get like 5 or 6 of us together. You know what I mean? That are well acquainted. Like let's say us 3 and Sean and Corey and
we never
we haven't taken Sean down over there.
Sean's never been there.
Yeah, we haven't taken Sean over there.
I know
yet.
I'm missing somebody, but You know what I'm saying? Just get a crew together, and you guys are welcome to come up and fish brushy with me. I'll try to show you the ropes. I'm not as good at ice fishing as I am spring fishing, and that's like we were talking about earlier. There's a time and place for everything, and when it comes to walleye in the spring, I can definitely put you on walleye at brushy. But as far as winter, the crappie are fairly easy to catch at brushy in the winter. And maybe the perch if I can find them. But I'd love to go wiper fishing.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
if I could spend a day catching crappies through the ice and another day catching bluegills, once I start catching the white bass the white bass, wipers.
Oh, you just
and
forget
catfish,
about everything else.
I was like, I'm just gonna fish for wipers and catfish
fishing with it.
the rest of the season.
I can get behind that. I can understand that. That's the way I would be. That's why I'm here right now, because like I know I can go to brushy and I can catch fish, and I know I can catch some good fish, but I am kind of getting this figured out, and it really, really makes me drive an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Every time I get a chance, I'll just say that.
I think out of everybody that I know, you've got it the most dialed in for as far as the white bass and wipers, especially here, this particular body of water. People don't really. They don't hold it in high regard as far as white bass and wiper fishing.
It's not. That's why I was like, where are we going? And you guys, you sure?
You sure you want to do that? You sure about that?
And Kid is 100% right. It's like, this is not known, or at least it's known to be tough to chase those species. That's what
it's so much water. That's the reason.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I came here, I was like, whoa, this is way out of my realm. And I just went out and did it. I got some tips from a few people. Mm-hmm. It was at the end of the topwater bite, and I had just made a new jig that I wanted to try out. And I kind of sell these, kind of don't. So I'm not going to mention the name of them. But let's just say I went out and I caught fish right away, and I was like, "Oh, this is easy." You know what I mean? No, that's a fluke. I'm gonna try it again next week. And I went out and I did the same thing over and over and over and over. And I thank the people that gave me these few tips. They didn't, there was one guy who actually gave me a couple locations. He's like, "They were here yesterday. If you can get there, try it out." You know what I mean? And I went and I tried it, and they were there, and I sent him some jigs, a hat, some shirts and stuff. And I was like, here, take these jigs and go do what I did at the spot you told me about. And I think he did it, and he caught a few fish, and he was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ever sit here and tell you that I just came up with it on my own, because I've had help just like everybody does, but I'm learning something every single time I go out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important part of fishing, is that you learn something, even if it's a bad thing. Learn something every single time you go out. What not to do, or what to do, or how does this condition affect this? It's just so I just take techniques that people show me or tell me about, and I just build on them, and I kind of make it my own, I guess.
Yeah, I'm this might be a stretch, but I think I'm confident enough that when I get my own boat, I can take it out to different bodies of water, similar types of bodies of water,
and put a pattern together.
Yeah, and put a pattern together.
Absolutely.
And I feel like this type of bite, you could probably do it all year.
I think you probably could.
I think you can.
I mean, you could carry this into ice fishing if you think about it, because all we're doing is vertical jigging.
Actually,
it's just about finding where they want to be at that time.
That body of water where I plan on taking you to go ice fishing for wipers and catfish. Mm-hmm. The structure is similar.
Oh, perfect.
Very similar.
We could put a good pattern together and just kind of check it out.
Yeah.
Do some more research.
Yeah.
I didn't get to go this past winter because of my broken wrist.
Well, don't be breaking that wrist.
Speaking of that, guys, today it is sore as hell.
You exercised it.
I did. I'm feeling it. I am not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna go home and ice it. It's that sore. Then again, like I said, today was the very first day that I've actually put it to the test.
You want another beer, Geoff?
Yeah, I could go for one more.
Here, I'll give you this one.
Oh.
I'll give you this one.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You might as well grab me one.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But today was the very first time I've actually put it to the test when it comes to fishing wise. Mm-hmm. I've been taking it. I mean, maybe a week ago, I was finally able to do a normal push up.
Yeah, you told me that.
And without doing a fist. So I was able to finally do that. And then today I was like, all right, I'm going to try. I mean, my anticipation, I wasn't expecting to catch that many fish either, too. I don't know. I always leave low expectation and leave happy at the end. That's how I do it. Mm-hmm. And today, I'm telling you guys, probably by about the second wiper I caught today, I'm like, shit. My wrist was like, because it literally pulls it down every time. Obviously, when you send the hook, I'm like, yeah, it was sore. I'm telling you guys right now, it's sore. Like I think it's okay, but I just think I'm gonna have to ice it.
No push-ups today.
Probably no push-ups today.
I was telling him he just needs to switch it up. Just put the handle on the other side.
I guess I was thinking about that. But it's just, I don't know. When you're so accustomed to one side, it's just like
I get it.
Like my reaction time, because I tried that today. I mean, I tried to set the hook with the left hand. I could just tell my reaction time is just not as fast. I tried that today.
I think if there was ever a time to try it, it'd be this, because you're vertical jig. Vertical jig.
True.
You're not casting.
You don't have to cast.
Yeah, you don't have to cast.
The thing is, the casting is fine. It's when I was setting the hooks today.
Right.
That's when I was like,
pulling it down.
Is that resistance? That's what it was. So casting, I'm fine, but is that when I was setting the hook and then all of a sudden just instant resistant, and then especially if it's a big fish, like oh shit, I had to use my stomach a lot today. Like when I was fighting the fish, if you didn't see, I was like, I had to brace it against it. I was like, oh, my wrist was like
a little bit of core exercise there.
Yeah, a little bit.
How about pretend like it's either you can't fish or you have to trade to the other side?
I'm fishing, man.
Well, then
I'll
trade to the
figure
other
it
side.
out.
You'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. I'm still fishing,
or fishing left-handed like me.
Yeah, it was like I said. I haven't been on a good bite, and then today kind of, I guess what's the word? Rejuvenated me to go.
Like, oh, I do know how to catch fish.
Yeah, I do know how to catch fish. I do know how to fight a fish.
I love it.
It rejuvenated my love, I guess you can say. I wouldn't say I didn't lose it. I was just like, God, the last couple times I've been out, I was like, it's been a struggle. So it's nice to be able to catch some fish and then learn new techniques and just learn new things. So
it's tough for bank fishermen right now.
I agree.
Even I've been struggling. This past month, I've gone out maybe once a week. And usually I'm out, every other day, maybe a couple days in a row. But the last time I went out was the last time me and you went out. So I've been kind of discouraged to go bank fishing because I know it's been so slow.
See, that's what I'm wondering. Because you said that. No, you actually said that too. Like when we were down south, you're like, and I asked you, hey, when's the last time you fished? He goes, weeks. I'm like, huh? That's the very first time I've ever heard this guy say I haven't fished one time this week or whatever the case may be. He's like, it's been dead. It's been slow. And then we had Spencer on the podcast, and he's just like, same thing. It's just,
I know he's been struggling.
He's been struggling.
And he has a livelihood on the line.
Yeah.
His livelihood is either him catching fish for the videos or putting people on fish. So that's
Did he get out of the teaching and he's going full time?
Oh, he's
guide
full,
YouTube now
since last year.
YouTube since last year.
Okay.
Since last year.
I didn't know. I don't.
He 100% completely. That's it. Like he said, that's his livelihood. Either YouTube,
good for him,
guiding,
awesome.
and that's it. That's his livelihood. Fishing.
I'm trying to get him to use my jigs. I was messaging him last week because Corey told him about my jigs.
Oh, dude.
Said he lost like big wiper striper.
Oh,
yeah.
And
really?
I'm like, dude, I make some jigs with some pretty stout hooks in them. You should try them out.
I know a guy.
Yeah,
I know a guy. I said I'll send you a couple if you want to just try them.
Yeah.
Right.
But he said he'd contact me when he's ready.
He knows the Brian. They fished together before.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Yeah.
I dropped that too. I was like, yeah, even Brian uses my jigs. I'm not trying to make money. I just want you to use a quality jig. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it because your jig heads are dope. Those are the only jig heads I'll order.
They're pretty awesome. Yeah. I'm not even trying to have a big head. They're just, if somebody else was making them and I was buying them, it's what I'd use. You know what I mean? Just because I have confidence in the Gamakatsu hook, and that's really what it's about. It's not about my paint job or anything like that. I mean, I am getting better as time goes on, and I'm making them prettier and prettier. But at the end of the day, it really is that hook.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to pour? So I mean, let's just from beginning to end. You buy the material and stuff. How long does it take before you give it to one of us to fish with?
So, well, it depends on how busy I am. But it all depends on the jig, honestly, because some jigs pour better than others. Mm-hmm. Some have a lot of flashing. Some have none besides the top where you pour it in. You know what I mean? Then you get to like if you're doing a dual color, like a two-tone, or you're putting 3D eyes on them, or you're painting eyes on them. You know, if you're putting 3D eyes on, you have to, first of all, glue those eyes on, let that dry, and then you have to clear coat over them because you don't want your eyes falling off on people because they will bash you at every chance they get. I promise you. There are some people out there that just want to bash you, and I swear they will order jigs and want them to fail just so they can say something. But I don't want to.
Like you're speaking from experience.
I don't want to get. I don't really want to get on that side of it. I've had a few specific people that I had a bad feeling about selling to, but I did it anyway because I wanted them to use quality hooks. Mm-hmm. And it came out later in the end that they were just like, all of the eyes fell off in the bag, and like all of them really, or a couple, you know, right. Or did you take a knife and pick them off? You know? I've seen you start trouble on many pages, and now you're okay. You know what? We're done with that. Yeah. Anyway, so you will get those people, but I try to make sure that eyes will not fall off. And even Brian told me that. He said, will you clear coat the eyes so the eyes won't fall off? And I said, absolutely, I do that anyway. I'll try and make sure that no eyes will fall off. Mm-hmm. So that's just part of the process. If you want 3D eyes on, it's going to take longer. And that's why they cost more, because obviously I have to buy the eyes. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot longer to make something with a 3D eye than it does just to pour and paint something. And as far as like, if you were to order from me today, and let's say I have one order on my board, I might have your jigs done tomorrow. If I have 5 orders on my board, as long as I can not fish all the time and work on them, it might take a couple days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually feel really bad right now because I got a guy who ordered jigs for me a couple weeks ago, and I just got them finished on Tuesday, and I told him I was going to send them, and I did not send them. So I actually feel pretty bad about that because they're sitting in my kitchen and I need to send them out like right now. Right. So, but
nobody's perfect.
But that happens, you know. Yeah. I get distracted, or I get busy with the garden, or life in general, kids, you know. And so I try to turn them over as quickly as possible, but I don't always get it done because I am not perfect, and I'm also just doing this for a hobby. So I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job at the moment. But that's the long answer to a short question, I guess.
Okay, speaking of eyes, if you had to pick eyes or no eyes.
Oh, this is such a great debate because last week I would have told you eyes are going to improve your catches, right?
You think so? Or do you know?
Last week I would have told you this.
Okay.
And then I brought this guy named Fishing Kit on my boat using a plain jig head and a drastic plastic. And he outfished me, and I'm sitting here using like a great looking jig with an awesome red eye on it, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm just gonna stomp them today, you know what I mean? And this dude's catching like 3 to my 1, and I'm like, maybe they don't like the eye. But I think in general, the more natural you can make it look, I think the better. But there are those times when it's just like, you know what? They're like, I don't know.
Jeff,
you know?
Jeff, don't worry about it, man. He gave his soul to the fish devil. We were talking about this. I used the eyes. I was wondering why. Yeah, I used the eye that you asked me today. You're like, was it the eye?
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference. Because, okay, I made those jigs last week specifically for that situation. I'm like, red eyes, they're just going to nail them. Right? So then I was like, maybe they didn't like the red in the eye. So I made some natural eyes, which he used today.
Yeah.
And he did all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did all right.
Yeah. To be fair, you caught more fish than me today.
Me?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Plain jig.
Oh, man. Anyways.
It just depends.
You're really, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with everybody here, and I'll tell anybody this. But when you're making jigs, you really are fishing for fishermen, not for fish. When you're making and selling jigs, because you want that. Everybody wants it to look good. Everybody wants it to look perfect. I can't always make them perfect, but I do the best I can. And being said, 90% of the time I throw extra jigs in your order, because if something isn't perfect, did it stop recording?
No, you're good.
It'll
do that sometimes.
If something isn't perfect, I want to at least give you a couple extra, like let's say the barb on it is like melted off a little bit because I got to heat them up to paint them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it melts the barb. I want to make sure that you get the amount of jigs that you order the way you wanted them. So my general rule is like every 12 you order, I throw an extra one. So I give you a baker's dozen on every 12 you order. You know what I mean? That's just kind of my standard thing. I don't always get it done because sometimes I run out of hooks or I run out of wire keepers or the mold is not pouring very good. But I try to always send extra with my order. That way you get exactly what you paid for. Because, to be honest, these jigs, they are expensive if you think about, like, if you went to Walmart and bought jigs. But you're not getting Walmart jigs. You're not getting a cheap Eagle. And I like Eagle Claw a lot. I can't bash them because I love their gold hooks. But you're not getting a cheap Eagle Claw hook that may cost another jig maker. Or I don't even want to say another jig maker. I want to say like a big company who is selling them. It may cost them like 2 cents per hook, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm paying like 40 cents per hook. There's a big difference there. So I have to charge more because I have to pay more for that hook. But I want you to get that quality hook.
Yeah, I mean
that's where I'm at with it. And I know my prices can seem high, but in the long run, really, it's not. You're not going to buy a Gamakatsu hook or jig cheaper from Bass Pro or Cabela's than you are from me, because they're going to charge the price that I'm charging, but for an unpainted jig. You're not going to get eyes, you're not going to get paint, you're not going to get any of that. So I'm going to charge basically the price they're charging, but I'm going to paint your jig and I'm going to put eyes on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just where I'm at.
But on top of that, you're supporting local.
Right. And sometimes you got to pay more to support local.
And I don't even think your prices are like ridiculous.
They're not, but I've heard a lot that, I'm not going to pay that much for a jig. And I'm like, well, you can go to Walmart then. I think that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, these people are coming from they go to Walmart and buy, I don't know, a 20 pack of light wire hooks for
it's not apples to apples.
$5 or something.
That's what they're comparing it to.
That's what they compare it to, because you're just a guy in your garage making jigs, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you should actually be charging less.
Right.
I've got that from a few people, and it's like, I understand where you're coming from because you're used to buying jigs at this price, and I really didn't want to get into the price thing today, but it always comes out of me because I think deep down inside it kind of bugs me that people are like, I want to pay 25 cents per jig. I just can't sell them for that because I can't even buy the hook for that.
Right.
That's really what it boils down to.
Right. Yeah. I never thought like, man, Geoff's jigs are too expensive, especially for what you're getting. Mm-hmm. For what you're getting, I think they're way worth it.
I like premium, man. I like to use premium stuff.
And if you're so concerned about, let's say, bang for the buck, well, I just know because I've been using your jigs for so long. Order 100. Basically, the more you order, the bigger you order.
I always give somebody some kind of discount if you order. I think my minimum to give somebody a discount is usually like 100.
Yeah, I order 100 jigs at a time, all the time.
And damn, that's a lot of jigs.
Well, I fish a lot.
I know, that's why I'm like, man, I was like,
he fishes rocks.
That might last me all year, man. At least a year or two. Jeez.
During the summer, I don't lose a lot of jigs, but early spring and late fall, when you're fishing the river, you're going to lose a ton of jigs. Yep. Yeah, you're going to lose a ton of jigs.
You fish the river at all this year?
Early spring, yeah.
You did? A little bit.
I did. I had a pretty decent wiper run for like a week.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I think, was it the video that you posted the other day?
I caught a couple of double digits.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
The
video you posted the other day.
I didn't get any wiper. I didn't really try it. I didn't get any wiper out of the river this year.
You're kind of farther away from kind of where they congregate.
We have to get. No, we can get them. They come out of here. Mm-hmm. Edit that out.
Well,
anyways, they come out of the river.
They move from a bigger body of water.
Yeah,
they move up the river.
They move up river to us,
yeah.
But we have to have the right water conditions, as in how much water we have. And in the last 4 years, I'd say, we haven't had the water that allows the shad to move up, that allows the big wiper to move up. Now, there's plenty of white bass and wiper that have been caught around my area, but when you get those really high water years, you get some double digits, basically. You know, they come up, they move from spot to spot, let's say creek mouth to creek mouth or whatever, you know, eddies, whatever it is, but they eventually make it up to my area. Especially because we took out both dams, you know.
Yeah.
Both of our dams are gone, so they get to go past us now up to Humble. And if we get enough water, the shad will run, which means the wiper will be right behind them.
Yeah. Hey, you're giving out some hints. We might have to bleep that one out too.
You can bleep out whatever.
But is it? I think. Would you guys say is wiper your favorite fish to fish for? Between you two?
Between us two?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Like,
okay. Now I'm going to let you answer first because mine is a long version.
Okay. What's the favorite fish for you to fish for now? Because I know you got into catfishing big time the past couple of years.
Wiper's number one. Okay. Easy answer.
My answer would be favorite fish to fish for. We could go into bucket list fish. We could go into everything, but I'm gonna say
just your favorite fish to fish.
My favorite fish to fish for would be red drum.
See, Geoff.
Whoa.
Yeah, we haven't dropped the ball yet, but Geoff goes ocean fishing.
Yeah. Red drum, huh?
Red drum big red drum, not just regular little slot fish. I'm talking like 40 to the biggest I think I caught was 48 incher. But for the 40 to 50 inch range red drum will put a hurting on you as far as inshore. Now offshore, obviously tuna, all that stuff. A shark, you don't want to catch a shark. Trust me, that's hours of holding on to a rod. If you want to be satisfied by fighting a fish real hard for like let's say 5 to 10 minutes, red drum is where it's at. These things in 40, 50 foot of water, maybe 30 foot of water, these things make runs like tacoed rod, straight tacoed rod.
Yeah.
And you're just setting it in your leg, you know, holding on to it while they're doing their thing. Maybe gain a little bit. Maybe they take 30 more yards of line, maybe gain a little bit. It's insane. That's probably my favorite fish to fish for. But if you're talking freshwater, it's got to be wiper. It has to be. I could almost say flathead, but I haven't done enough flathead fishing to say flathead. You know, I can appreciate these guys that are getting on the river on their kayaks, floating down to their log jam or whatever they're floating to catch these fish, because that's just a thrill. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest, the only flathead I've really ever caught besides like the bycatch every once in a while channel cat fishing is trap fishing. You know, I'm fishing spillways or I'm fishing dams or whatever, and I'm throwing out live baits, and it's very, very fun, but I'm fishing for meat and I'm getting meat, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not like the adventure of floating down on a kayak or a canoe or whatever, setting up camp, sitting there for the night. I do most of my flathead fishing during the day, during major and minor periods on around full moons, and that was kind of taught to me by an older gentleman. But fish that I can catch on a fairly regular basis, wiper all day long, all day long.
Yeah,
just pound for pound, their force is
so hard.
It's crazy. It's so fun. It reminds me of a red drum, and that's why I love it so much, because they take that run. You know, they peel that drag and they bend your rod, and then you get a little bit on them, and then they peel that drag again. It's like saltwater fishing. It really is the closest you'll get to saltwater fishing in Iowa.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you.
It's fishing for wiper. That's why I love them so much.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, because a lot of people put it that way. Catching wipers is about as close as you can get as catching fish in the ocean.
Absolutely, because I should let you know that we strictly jig and plastic fish. We're not out there soaking baits in the salt water. We're popping baits, and I'm talking half-ounce, three-quarter-ounce baits all day long. You think your wrist hurts right now? Try popping a half-ounce or a three-quarter-ounce jig all day long like that. It's snap jigging, twitch jigging, whatever. Let it sink to the bottom. Just pop it until something goes thunk. And I'm talking about a real thunk.
That sounds
like
fun, man.
You know when like a wiper will come and grab your bait and almost rip it out of your hand? That's how these redfish bite, man. They come in and they just thunk.
How big did they get?
I think I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure at least the Florida state record is in the 60s, 50s or 60s.
Pounds?
Slot? No, that's inches.
Inches.
We've never weighed them. I have no idea what they weigh, but they're freaking heavy. I could show you some pictures. They're just insane. My brother lives there, so I'm super spoiled. I just get to go and fish on his boat like a guide. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think probably 60s. I forgot where I was going to go with that.
I was going to say, imagine a 40-inch wiper.
Oh, my goodness.
How many pounds do you think that would be, a 40-inch wiper?
Man,
Is
I
that
don't know.
that's 20-ish, I think?
I know they catch them down there, and they call them sunshine bass.
40-inch
Up to
wipers.
like 30 inches, 32, something like that.
I'd say a 30 is probably 10 pounds.
Think so?
I think so. Maybe
What's
10
the
to 15.
state record? How long is that?
My uncle still has it.
What?
Iowa state record for the wiper.
Seriously?
My uncle still has it.
That's wild, dude. That is cool.
I don't know what the length is, but it's almost 20. It's like 19 something.
I think the poundage was 20.
The pounds?
Yeah, the pounds. It's like 19
Yeah,
something.
19 something.
They just
like,
stop at like 32 inches and they just get taller.
Yeah, I have to look it up the inches. I should look it up. Yeah, my uncle still has it.
Where'd he catch it at?
Down here?
Down here.
Down
Oh,
here?
really?
Down here.
On the other side.
Oh, now we just
on the other side.
I'm
No, I'm gonna have to bleep that out now. Cut. He caught it here in central Iowa.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Dude, I threw back a state record crappie
Here?
in southern Iowa at a pond.
Oh shit.
Out of respect for, I didn't know it was a state record.
Black or white crappie?
Yeah.
Black crappie.
Black crappie.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a state record.
What is the record?
It's like 21 inches or something. I don't remember.
Damn, that's a big.
I think it's
3 or 4 something pounds.
Yeah, 3.
This thing was
some
over
pounds.
4.5 pounds.
Jeez, that's a big crappie.
Dude, I had my stinking scale on kilograms.
Oh god.
And so I thought it was like 2 something pounds.
It's
I'm
like,
like,
2.5 kilograms.
Hey, it's not a bad fish. It's not a bad fish.
It was like a 19 or 20 inch crappie.
Wow.
Right?
Dude.
Throw it back. I realized later that my scale was on kilograms, and I'm like, I suppose I was fishing on somebody's private pond. I was being respectful. I threw it back.
Don't feel bad, man. This guy probably caught the state record for shad.
For shad?
So there currently isn't a state record for shad, but
There should be.
That he has it.
there could have been.
How long was it?
I don't know how long, but it was over 3 pounds.
Shad.
That is wild.
It was probably like 20 some inches.
Oh,
That's a
boy.
big shad.
It's huge.
That's a
huge.
big shad. I've seen them like this, and I'm like, whoa. that's a
20
big
inch shad. Think about it. 20 inch shad.
20
That's
inch
freaking
shad.
enormous.
It's
bro.
funny because Geoff Kapaska, friend of the show, the Iowa DNR's biometrician. So I reached out to him after I've been getting into huge shad. I'm like, hey Jeff, typically, what do you think's a big shad? He's like, oh, I don't know, like 16, 17 inches. So I'm like, he's a big shad. And then I sent him a picture. He's like, holy cow, that's a big shad. And then we just were talking. He was like, so I told him how much it weighs, like 3 pounds. I don't remember. Oh, it was like 3 pounds, 4 ounces or something.
Wow.
Then I started looking up like state records and stuff. I think Arkansas or Alabama, it's almost 2 pounds is their state record. And I'm like, this shad is bigger than that fish. And Jeff's like, do you want me to submit it for a state record? I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. He was like,
Should have, dude.
That would be cool.
His answer was like, I'm not sure if you could, but I could try to get it through for you. I was like, well,
He'd probably get it done.
the thing is, I already cut it up and put it in a Ziploc bag.
Typical cat fisherman, man.
Hold on, let me put it back together real quick.
And then I tried getting another one over 3 pounds.
Oh boy.
And, It didn't happen.
So just think of it this way, Kit. You know, it's just moral victory. You currently have the Iowa state record for shad. until anybody can beat you or say they caught a bigger shad or of some sorts, whatever, you currently have the record.
New goal unlocked.
It could have been like a world record for all I
3
know.
pounds? That's
3
a
pounds.
big freaking shad.
Because I was looking up states that keep a record for gizzard shad.
We gotta look
Most
that
of
up.
them are
gonna
like
ask
2
what kind.
pounds.
Yeah.
Like 2 pounds.
That's why
around
I'm
there.
like, I don't think there was a 3-pounder. That's awesome, dude.
That's ridiculous.
See, dude, you would have been a world record shad man. You've been the shad man.
I had a few state record shads in my freezer for like a month.
Oh gosh. Oh boy.
Hey, I got something. Oh, no, not as good. But so a couple ice seasons ago, I caught a 17-inch crappie at a local pond.
That's a big crappie.
Yeah, big crappie, right? And I'm like, I'm gonna have this thing mounted, even though I said I'd never mount a fish. So I put it in my freezer for like a year, and I was like, you know what? I was going trolling for catfish at my local lake. It's like, you know what? I don't have any bait. I think I'm going to cut up this 17-inch crappie. I cut them up, man.
Oh,
I cut them up.
Yeah.
17-inch crappie. That's a big crappie.
Yeah.
I wonder.
I caught a bunch of catfish on them.
Oh, hey, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Did you catch anything on that shad that you caught? That you cut up?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay,
Caught some catfish.
kind of worth it then.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it fed me, I guess, in the long run.
In the long run.
State record, man. Shad. I'm calling you Shad Man from now on.
Shad man.
You're the Shad Man.
I mean, I should look up the world record to see what it is.
All right,
If it's like 2.9 pounds,
You're gonna be
shad,
mad.
oh my god!
Oh, you shouldn't even look. Just
World
in case.
record gizzard
Just
shad
in
holder.
case.
Oh, dude. But I know where to get them now. So when I get a boat, early in the year, I know where I can get some giant shad.
This is gonna be awesome when you get a boat.
Hey, question.
I'm so excited.
Could you register that for a state record if you throw a net versus catching it with the
I
hook?
doubt it.
So you have to catch it with a hook.
I believe hook and line.
Okay.
I believe.
For the shad, that's what I'm wondering.
Just because I don't think you can like turn in a flathead for trot line, can you?
I think you can.
Can you?
I don't think there's a distinction between trot line and rod and reel, at least
That'd
in
be,
Iowa.
That'd be worth looking into.
Yeah.
I think other fisheries in other states, they have separate records, like say rod and reel, or like youth male, youth female, stuff like that.
Iowa
or,
doesn't have that.
Or like a certain line class, like the biggest flathead ever caught on 6 pounds line.
Right.
Iowa keeps their stuff pretty simple.
Pretty
Yeah,
simple, yeah.
It's like either you got the biggest one or you don't.
Yeah, basically.
Simple as that.
And you have to
Okay.
beat by 1 ounce.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is. 1 ounce. It has to be heavier by 1 ounce.
So you could technically snag a fish here, and if it's the biggest,
I think as long as you legally harvested the fish.
okay,
Right.
So technically, I think you could cast net a shad.
Okay, so
and
that's what
submit.
I'm-
Well, currently there's isn't like a state record shad, but if you know some people,
somebody's gonna register their next shad now after listening to this episode. Like, dude, fuck, I got a 1 pound shad state record right now. You submit it right now.
no. But Geoff, if Geoff is the guy that would have to look at it, like, well, I know this guy, like, he caught a 3 pound shad. I can't accept this.
But you didn't submit it because you cut it up for bait.
Right.
It happens.
Too late. Dang, guy. World record shad. Oh, she's shad, man.
What'd you think about that? Remember when I said something about that wiper that I thought could be possibly a white bass? What were your thoughts on that? Did you look at the picture? Were you like, oh, he might have a point? Or were you like, nah, it's a wiper? I
In
was
my
just curious
mind,
what you yeah, well, yeah.
in my mind, it's like
I'm sure I got you
wiper
thinking.
hands down.
Mhm.
But if you look at the state record white bass,
Mhm.
most people would look at it like, oh, that's a wiper.
It looks like a wiper, doesn't it?
It does
But you
look
know
like-
the DNR checked that.
Right.
And
I
had
think
to
they
look at the
did.
tongue patch.
They might have even did like a DNA test.
Right.
Really?
Just to make sure.
Yeah, just to make sure.
Because it was such a big white bass. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the previous record was like 4.5 pounds or something. And the only reason I know that is because I caught a wiper thinking it was a white bass. And I was like, I caught a state record white bass. So I went and talked to the DNR. He's like, open the mouth. And I'm like, and he's like, that's a wiper, dude. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm good friends with the DNR up in Fort Dodge.
Was it
that's
last
good.
year,
Yeah.
Kit? You caught one that was pretty close to the state record white bass
At,
on the river.
It was 2 years ago. I think I caught a white bass that would have beat the old record.
You were talking about it.
Yeah.
You were talking about it on the podcast I've been listening to.
It would have beat the old record.
But you never checked it, right?
Well, Kit
No,
never.
I knew it was a white bass. For
Oh,
sure.
but you
Like,
never.
There wasn't
you
a
never
doubt.
Even called.
Yeah, there wasn't a doubt. But well, your buddy already had the new record.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it would have beat the previous record.
Oh, I gotcha. So
Yeah.
because that was because the record was beat in Okoboji,
Yes.
and then like not too much longer later, Justin caught the one. And,
Yeah.
and he had the record, right?
Yep.
And that was just a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yep. Man.
Jeez.
Excuse me.
It was the biggest white bass I ever caught in my life. I think it
Oh,
was,
bad. That is
19.
ridiculous.
19
I
something.
think you said it's on
19
19 inches, dude. That's insane.
Ridiculous.
That's like a.
That's a huge white bass.
Yeah, that's not even.
That's a big white bass. Derek and I last year when we were doing this, we caught a couple that were like 18-inch range.
Wow.
Yeah, white bass. Because I was checking them. I was like, I got to check every one because I was like on that kick where I got to know what it is. You know what I mean? And now I'm just like, it looks good. Throw it back.
Yeah, I try to get, especially the big hybrids that I catch. I try to get them back as fast as I can.
Yeah,
But-
you are good about that.
Yeah, but last week I was like, man, I should have, or not
I
last
wish
week.
you would
Today,
have put him on the tape.
yeah, today I should have at least on the tape real quick, throw him back.
Yep. That one was curling up on you, though. That's
Yeah.
why we didn't get a good picture because it was curling up.
He looked dead in the picture, the one picture that we took.
But that thing was large.
Yeah.
And there was something about the front of its face and its mouth that just looked different from all the other wiper pictures. Now I was like, this kind of looks like white bass. I don't know if I want to say anything or not, but if it is, it's a huge white bass.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it was a wiper
Yeah, we'll just say it was a wiper.
because he was over 5 pounds.
He's a nice one.
Yeah, he would have been a donkey white bass over 5 pounds. That'd be crazy.
That's one thing I can say. Although we have caught a lot of white bass and wiper out of here, it's like you said, cookie cutter. You know, it's like 18 to 20-inch wiper, and I'd say the white bass are like 13 to 15-inch white bass.
Yeah,
So it's all about the same size, but so fun to catch.
so fun.
It's not like you're out here catching monsters. Well, I mean, you caught a couple real good ones last week, and Grandy lost a couple today, but
Broke off.
broke.
Sad.
So sad.
I was.
I don't even feel sorry about the second one though, because I did mention to check your line.
You did.
Yeah.
I got that tip from Corey, and I remembered.
The
today.
funny thing is, I think that first one that broke off, there was silence for about 30 seconds. No, you guys
Moment
didn't
of
say a
silence.
word because you guys are.
Because we wanted to see it, man.
It was a heartache. I was like, it was just 30 seconds of just pure silence. I was just like,
You just know when there's a big fish, like,
Oh yeah.
and I fought it. That was the thing, though. It'd be one thing if it bite and then you didn't land or whatever. I fought it. I
know.
felt that like that's sad.
so what's your setup, Geoff? Like how
For what?
For like what we were fishing, like your line.
Oh, okay. So I run Cadence rod and reels. I found Cadence. My brother found Cadence. I'm sorry. My brother found Cadence fishing, I think 5 years ago or something. And their rods come from China, and then they're shipped here and then sold. But they were selling them for like $20-$30 a piece. What, dude? Money. And it's not because it was cheap, but it was the best feeling rod I've ever had in my hands.
There you go.
For $20 or $30 ever. I mean, you could drag it on the ground and you could feel every single, like if you drug it on here, it'd be like you could feel every single bump right on the tip. You know what I mean? So anyways, we were like, these are awesome because they're cheap, they're good, and they had a 1 year, no questions asked, warranty replacement. And we broke like 6, 7 of them, and they just sent us new ones. We break them on fish, you slam them in a door, whatever, they just send you a new one. Anyways, so I started using their CR5, which was awesome. And last year I started using their CR7s. Now they've bumped their price up quite a bit now. I think it's like, and I was going to say I shouldn't have gave them like a plug, but I should actually because they've sent me a bunch of free stuff. But I bumped up to their CR7, which is like it's not their top of the line, but it's a bump up from the CR5. It's a medium light. It's a 6'3". rod, and I use their CS5 spinning reel, which is pretty smooth. It ran me about $30, I think, for the reel, 1,000 size. I use a smaller reel. The drag is pretty good. It's mostly aluminum. In their like CS10, they use magnesium, which makes it super, super light. Mm-hmm. But so it's cadence fishing, 6'3", medium light, and then CS5. And then for line, I usually run whatever's available, 8 to 10 pound fire line. Always fire line for me. I've been using fire line for 15, 20 years.
Wow.
And in the past couple of years, started using a 10-pound fluorocarbon leader. Mm-hmm. Probably, I'd say 10 to 15 feet. I used to use a smaller one, but Corey actually talked me into using a longer one.
Yeah.
And he also talked me into make sure you tie a new leader on, because I would be like, I'd use it and then it'd get smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I'd just stop using it,
Yeah.
And he's like, make sure you retie that thing. You're going to need it for these finicky fish. Yeah. So I now try to keep a 10 foot, right around 10 foot, because I just stretch it out 2 times.
Yeah.
And I'm like 5'3". I'm super short, dude. So I just stretch it out 2 times, call that good, uni to uni knot, and just hook it up like that. So that way I get a little less visibility for the fish when they're looking at it, and it seems to be working okay. Now, if I'm walleye fishing like Des Moines River, Fort Dodge area, I don't really mess with the fluorocarbon leader because you're fishing the dirty river. You're fishing spring when they're super aggressive anyway. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter that much, especially if you're dam fishing, trap fishing, or, I do fish a lot of like current breaks and stuff. I'll either find a spot along the side of the road if I can find a current break, or I will float down in my John boat and I will anchor every once in a while and I'll just fish current breaks.
Yeah.
But, that's basically my setup, and always a backyard bait shop jig.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
What about you, Gord? What was your setup?
What's that light blue line that my brother-in-law gave to us that one time?
Some Japanese stuff.
Yeah. So I use that line now for
Cast King?
No, it's a shoot. I totally forgot the
Some
name.
Japanese.
Yeah. So
Is it a super line or a braid or?
It's a braid. I have a braid. Yeah, I have a
Okay.
braid line. It's 10 pounds, but the thing is, it's so like when I can cast like super far with that. You've seen it.
That's why I like crystal. I love Fireline crystal.
And I use the braid, and then I just use a fluorocarbon 10-pound leader, and that's it. Simple. I just keep it simple. Uni, and then now I'm gonna be starting using somebody's jig heads now from this point forward.
I would highly advise it if you want to
and
connect with more fish.
And that's all I used today. That was it, man. So, and then I just have my medium light Avid, St. Croix Avid, and then I just got
nice.
this
Fancy.
CI4.
Nice, yeah. I would love to buy
A CI4 Stratic?
That's
it.
Man,
fancy pants over
Whatever.
there, man.
I'm like
it.
in between. I like the really sensitive, feeling like it's fancy stuff, but I don't want to pay for it.
But like I just told you,
I'm the same way.
I'm never buying. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, you guys know, I love the Avids though. I love the rods. But I'm probably never ever gonna spend more than $100, $200 on a rod again. I just don't fish enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not a professional fisherman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell the difference between in reality, I couldn't tell the difference between a $100 rod and a $200 rod, let alone I did fish with my brother-in-law's $900 rod. It's great. It's great. Don't get me wrong.
Holy moly.
It's cool. And, I mean, he got like a $1,500 setup. I'm just like, all right, I'm scared to even just touch
you got to put like
this.
a deposit down to even touch that thing?
Well, I mean, it's great, but I just
bet it is.
I just couldn't tell the difference, though. I just
$900.
couldn't. There was no, to me, because I don't think I have I don't have the knowledge or the feel for it. His $900 rod, I could not tell the difference between that and my $100 or $200 rod.
Put your finger on your rod blank when you're jigging.
Yeah, I should try that more.
No, do. Just do it, and you'll be able to tell the difference.
Problem.
Between, like,
no, there's a
high dollar rod and
I'm pretty
you know
sure there's
saying?
a reasoning behind it. Don't get me wrong.
I'm just offering a little advice.
We fish, like I was telling him, like we did previous episodes. I fish a lot on the banks, so I lay my shit down. I do not want to lay a freaking.
Do you lay it down or do you throw it down?
I lay.
Like, that's good.
Well,
or
now I have a $200 down. Yeah, I lay it down now. I have to because I have. It's not super pricey, but it's a $250 rod and $200 reel. That's pretty much my setup right now.
That's a good setup, man.
And I'm not going to
St. Croix and what? What are you running for a reel again?
The CI4,
C14,
yeah,
Shimano Stratix.
Oh
CI4.
yeah, definitely.
But I'm not going to throw that down now.
Setup.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying though?
Rich guy setup.
Whatever. but if you're fishing on the bank, you're not throwing that on the ground. And I fish on the bank all the time. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, okay, it's not worth it to me to even. My brother-in-law's, when I was fishing with his, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do with this rod. I got a fish on the line. How am I going to get the fish? I'm like, I'm not putting the shit on the ground. I don't want to scratch it right? It's a $1,500 setup here. I'm like, all right, what am I doing? How do I land this fish? Because what do you put it in between your legs? That's what I kind of did. That's pretty much what I did. But then you're on the rocks.
I get it.
So I'm just like, okay. So my thoughts are like, that's it. I'm never buying super expensive stuff, and I couldn't tell the difference. I'm not good enough to be able to tell the difference of a $200 to a $900.
We got to boost that. We got to boost that self-confidence a
maybe,
little bit.
maybe
For sure. For sure.
But
we got to work on that.
That was my setup. It's fun. It works as long as you catch fish. That's all that matters.
What's Kit's setup? He asked,
nothing.
right?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Actually, I had a conversation with Grandy's brother-in-law. His argument is that it's so light you can cast all day and not get tired. Like, well, I'd rather have a little fatigue and save $700.
I will say that's another thing I really like about the cadence. Very, very light. You didn't hold my rod last time, did you? That doesn't sound right. You did not check out.
You never hold my rod?
My rod and reel last time, correct?
I have not.
You should. And one thing I really like about it, which I didn't mention, is little guy. I have smaller hands, and they have a thinner grip.
Oh.
And so I don't feel like I'm holding on to something like this. It's very natural for me.
Yeah.
And it's very light, very sensitive, and that's why I like them. And Cadence has been very good to me. I have nothing bad to say about Cadence at all because I've done a little bit of sharing, like social media stuff, and they've sent me their top of the line reel. They sent me like a meat thermometer kit. They've just sent me some random stuff because I shared some of their stuff online. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Truman's a pretty good dude. I've dealt with Truman Murphy a little bit, and he's a pretty good dude.
And let's get back to the setups. So my favorite walleye, actually jigging rod setup, was a Hellbender. I forgot, is it Five Fishing or something that used to? It was a Hellbender. It's not 13 fishing.
It's not 13.
It's like some number. It's some number and fishing. I think maybe 13 Fishing bought them out or something. But I bought it at the Fisherman's Swap Meet for like $30. It was my favorite set. I mean, and I fished with some fancier stuff. I fished with Grandy's brother-in-law's, I don't know, $400 setups.
You checked it out, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what?
It feels good.
He didn't.
Did it not feel any different?
It did not feel good to me.
Wow you?
It did not wow me. And then I was like, this $30. Well, I bought it for $30. I think you probably buy it for like $60 or something now. But that was my favorite setup for a long time. And then I bought a new reel to go with it, and a fish took it over the side of a boat. Like the first or second time I took it out with the new reel because we weren't catching nothing. Yeah. I mean, I guess I was kind of asking for it because I just, I had the lures hanging over the side of the boat, maybe a foot underneath the boat, like right next to the motor.
I've seen it happen.
And it was like
down in Florida, man. My brother lost 2 setups like that.
Oh my god!
He's telling me, he's like, don't ever leave your rod sitting with the jig hanging on the side of the boat,
even if it's right underneath the surface.
And you just don't think about it, and you just set it down, and it's in the water. Bloop.
Lesson learned.
I think he did it for sure once while I was with him. maybe a second time. And he was like, now it goes in the rod holder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I even thought about that while we were out on the boat today because I just set it down on the back and just let it sit there.
I did that too.
And I'm like, do I really want to leave?
I saw you guys do that today. I was like, I'm not doing that, man, because I saw the video of it. I was like, yeah,
I got it on camera.
Yep.
Fortunately, I can afford to replace my setup.
Yeah. It's not like a $900 setup or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's like a maybe 140. So I'll be okay.
No.
Okay. All right. So the setup I was using today.
Line.
I think it's a 15-pound Cast King braid.
Oh, he's going heavy.
Yeah.
With a 17-pound leader.
He should have been flipping fish.
I know, but I don't know.
Flipping them.
I feel like I'm not so much worried about the fish breaking off. I'm just afraid of the hook popping out if I try to boat flip.
I think about that all the time, like hook in the eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you wanted your sunglasses earlier,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and then the sun came out.
Can
too.
you imagine a gamma? I don't even want to talk about it. I don't want it to happen.
Oh, dude. But I got a Bass Pro Qualifier 2 spinning rod. I want to say it might be a medium heavy.
Yeah?
It doesn't look like a medium heavy though.
That's what we use in Florida is medium heavy.
Yeah. I think it's a medium heavy, but it doesn't look like a medium heavy. It doesn't feel like a medium heavy.
Is it a little slower?
It's actually fast action.
Oh, is it fast?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fast. And I got a Cast King reel, Sharky 3.
Yeah?
I think
I
it's got
thought
like-
about buying one. I think I told you that last time.
I think it's got like 25 pounds of drag.
I think the Cast Kings are similar to the Cadence reels. I think they're built about the same. I think
Yeah.
they come from the same area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so my setup's probably, if we're going to put a price on setups, that setup's probably $150.
Yeah, that's a good range in my opinion for setups.
I think it's
run about 150 and
I agree.
You don't feel too bad if something happens. I was so mad. That just reminded me of something. Last year I was fishing in the spring and I'm fishing at brushy, trees everywhere. And I'm on a good bite on the front of the boat. I got my daughter in the back of the boat and I got my rod sitting in one of the rod holders in the back of the boat. And I just happened to turn around and I see my rod being picked up by a branch from one of the trees because we were going under
Oh,
a tree.
boy.
And it was like slow motion, you know what I mean? It's like bloop, drops. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
trying to do everything I can. It's still sitting there in about 13 foot of water. I know where it's at. I just need clear enough water to be able to snag it back. I sat there for 45 minutes trying to snag it. But it was my only CR7 at the time. So it was my money setup, It didn't cost a lot, but it was my money setup.
That's crazy.
That's the biggest thing. Is the money setup and what feels comfortable.
What feels best.
That's more
that
important.
really is what.
More important than anything else. It's what feels comfortable in your money setup.
Yeah, and funnily enough, that setup, I closed my tailgate on it once.
Oh,
Did you
shit.
break it
Did
or was it good?
It was good. I've
Oh,
been
that's
using it ever
awesome.
since.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
I think the way everything lined up, so I had my tailgate down, and it was kind of sitting from where you step on the bumper at. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to put it in words, but basically my tailgate was down, and the little corner where your bumper is and where the tailgate is, I had it in that corner, and I lifted up the tailgate,
And it just went.
yeah, it was kind of bent a little bit. Oh man, I totally
Uh-oh.
ruined this rod. But this was 2-3 years ago, and I've been fishing with that rod.
Oh, that's awesome.
Lucky.
So let's talk about materials then. What is the material on your rod? Carbon? Like, is it carbon or glass?
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure it's carbon.
maybe.
I love carbon. Yeah, the carbon's got the sensitivity. The glass is. I like glass for catfishing.
Yeah.
E-glass and stuff
Yep.
is great.
Like
for
the Whisker
catfishing.
Seeker
Whisker
rods. they're-
Seekers.
I need to check those
they're
out.
E-glass.
I'm running Cat Fever right now. I've been running big Cat Fever for like 7-8 years, but I really should check the
Whisker
Whisker Seeker
Seekers.
out. Yeah,
I like them. They're nice.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I've
They
been-
look nice. They look really nice.
Yeah, I've been running them for a few years.
Yeah.
And if
Actually,
I
a
try
long
one, I'll
time.
try two because all my catfish setups are double.
Yeah.
I got 2 of this, 2 of this, 2 of this. I just got to have 2. It's just the way I run.
So much to do. All right, Kit. Let's wrap this up. We've kept gentlemen here, Geoff, for way longer than we should have.
Oh, I'm good. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, see, it's funny because you were kind of like, oh, the camera, kind of
Yeah,
apprehensive.
now I'm just like chatting away, like Chatty Cathy.
Yeah, I was like, dude, it's just, but there's like, we don't have a script. We basically just wing it. And if you want to talk fishing and drink beer,
There you go.
Yeah.
And I even told Geoff, like, pretend the camera's not even there. We're just gonna talk fishing. Like,
Pretty
ignore
much.
the camera.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
So I've been like just checking out the boats here and there and just kind of listening, you know.
It's like,
But
man, I wonder if we were still out there. I
If
wonder
we
if we would be
still
catching
out-
them.
That guy's
We would have been slaying it.
No, I've had a good time. Today has been a great day. I'm glad that you guys came fishing with me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
And,
we need to do this more.
What else you got?
I
man?
guess-
I'm gonna hold you to getting me on 2 wipers.
Ooh.
oh
through the
yeah,
ice.
oh easy.
We will. We will.
sure.
Easy.
We promise. As a promise.
I think we should also plan for trying a different lake and trying to put the same pattern together. I think that would be cool. Just to
Be
say,
interesting.
Let's do it this day. Let's go try this. It's new to all of us as far as doing what we're gonna do, and just see if we can come together and put a pattern together.
I think if we take what we've been doing on this lake and apply it to another body of water that I have in mind, I think we could do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Be
I think
interesting.
you're
I think we could do it. I mean, whether that's, when I get my boat or
Yeah.
I guess it'd be more of a journey for you to haul your boat down there.
Either way, I'm good. As long as my wheel bearing doesn't give out on me like a couple weeks ago. That was like last minute, and I'm like, well, my wheel bearing went out, but I think I can get it fixed before we go. So I got it fixed like the night before we
Yeah, it was clutch.
Dude,
when you
it
got
was,
your wheel
yeah,
bearing fixed.
I'm lucky I didn't lose that wheel. If I would have been coming home from this area, I probably would have lost the wheel. But I was coming home from Brushy, so
Ooh.
it made it. It was like 10-mile ride, and it went out
Luckily.
on that ride home. Luckily. Because otherwise I'd have been SOL, basically.
Okay, so I guess my last thing is we've kept a few fish today to eat. So how do you plan
it's
on
gonna be good.
how do you plan on cooking your fish?
Well, it depends on if the kids have their choice, I'll have to fry it. But if I have my choice, I like to bake wiper.
So do you fillet it and then bake it, or
I will fillet it, and I'll use butter and salt and pepper, basically.
Yeah.
Butter, salt, and pepper with wiper. Bake it 350, whatever, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. And just because it's so thick, even with big walleye, I'll do that because it's just good. I just think it's good.
Nice.
But what about you?
Probably different ways. For the kids, I probably just fillet the smaller ones.
Yeah.
And then just batter it up, fry it. Me and Boss Lady, we're gonna probably do spring rolls. I'm gonna do fish wrap with
I want
it.
to try those. They just
And
sound
then
good.
she makes some amazing mum sauce, fish sauce to go with it.
fish
so-
sauce.
Yeah, fish sauce. Freaking
Sounds
such
good.
what's the word I'm looking for? It's a
Umami.
yes. But yes, so I'm gonna be doing that, and then I'll probably give the fish or two to my mom because she loves to make paping top. That's
Awesome.
a different one. It's a baking. You bake the fish
It's
with
baked whole fish.
baked whole fish,
Yeah.
That's right up my alley, dude.
yeah.
and my mom
Scale
just
them, gut them, bake them.
no, they don't even scale them. They just gut them, and then she puts a bunch of herbs in it,
Yep.
and then they just bake it,
Stuff
and
it
then
full.
it's just amazing stuff.
I do trout like that. It's awesome. I
There you
love
go.
it.
So my mom will do it that way. We'll do it that way, and then the kids will have it 3 different ways. So
Sweet.
other than that, man, anything else for Geoff guy?
I'm good.
Well,
I like it.
I'm gonna do spring rolls as well,
All right.
but I'm gonna fillet, bake it, and then probably make like a pineapple sauce. I think I've talked about it before.
man.
I was talking to you about it.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. It takes
like-
some prep, but I
I'd
think
like
that's one
to
of
try
my
that
things.
out. That'd be good.
So I wanted to add something new. So before we let you go, Geoff, I'm going to add this on. Who would you like to see or hear on this podcast? And then whoever it is, you have to either know them or you can help get them on the podcast. Who would it be?
Oh,
You have to know them, and you can help get them on our podcast.
I have to know them.
Who would it be that you'd want us to talk to and just hang out with and have a beer and talk fishing with?
You put me on the spot there. Have you had Derek on yet?
Yep.
Yes.
We've had Derek.
We can
Yeah,
have him
Derek.
on again, too.
We can have him on again.
Yeah.
I'm pretty comfortable with Derek. That would be a good one.
Okay.
Sean. I'm good with Sean.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of somebody new you haven't had on, but on the spot like that, I'd say Derek or Sean or both.
Yeah.
There we go.
5-man podcast.
Saki podcast.
Yeah.
Saki.
We do it his new dungeon. What am I
Yeah,
saying?
we do it in his dungeon.
He's got a new dungeon.
His bait.
Really?
His
Oh,
bait
yeah, I've
shop
been down
dungeon.
Yeah.
At Sean's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Saki
went and
fishing.
I met Corey and him down there one day. I think I was dropping off some jigs or something. That's pretty
There we
neat.
go.
Yeah.
He's got it set up really nice down there. Yeah,
We haven't had him on for a while. We can definitely do that.
Let's do it. Let's get together. Are we going to fish first, or are we just going to do podcasts?
Depends.
Possibly. He's got a boat.
He does.
We both have boats.
Oh.
I went out with him a couple weeks ago. Sucked. Remember? I almost shed on it. I had an accident.
Topwater bite.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Topwater bite, Sean and Derek.
Yeah.
All right.
Using diamond jigs.
That could. Yeah. All right. We got.
Let's think about it.
That'd be fun.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, we gotta talk about these jigs real quick.
Go.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
So this is Geoff's personal jig box. It's even got a few jigs.
There's still plastics on them.
Yeah, there's some plastics on
It's
them.
my personal box.
So Geoff offered this up for a giveaway
What?
for our listeners.
No shit.
Yeah. So how many jig heads do you think this is? About
I think there's 90 in a box like
90.
that.
So close to
Jeez.
close to
Somewhere-
100.
Somewhere in
Can
there.
you open up the show it.
Yeah, close to 100.
I'd say the way to win this would be to mention my favorite fish to catch.
Okay.
That way you can go like, you have to watch the podcast and you have to be right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Is that going? Yeah. Yeah. So in the YouTube comments for this video,
Yep.
you have to mention Geoff's favorite fish to catch, and then we'll pick out of those. We'll randomly pick, a winner out of that.
Yep.
So let's say 10 people
Draw
guess
a
the
number
same
or
thing.
whatever
Yeah.
it takes, or spin the wheel.
Yeah. Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
So yeah.
Let's do it.
So shout outs to Geoff. I mean,
Enjoy.
so normally how much would you sell this for?
Oh, I can't remember. A box like this, let me think about it. Let me see what's in here.
I mean, we got I see some eyeballs.
There's some
I see
pretty special jigs.
sparkly stuff.
Actually, I don't make these for people to sell right here. That is like
Oh, a little teardrop.
Ooh.
yeah, it's specially
pretty cool.
painted.
Yeah.
It's over 150 probably.
Gee, biz.
Probably with all the eyes and the
Yeah.
special
Sick.
painting. Probably.
Special paint.
Yeah.
Got some sparklies. Got some eyeballs.
Those are some of my favorites. I was like, I don't know.
That's
I got to do this.
That's
because,
a badass giveaway.
because
bro.
I was not prepared. I was going to make like a special couple bags. And I was just like, I just spaced it off. And I was like, what? I'll just do one of my personal.
There you go.
Because
So all you need
They're
to do
Caught some wipers with them.
is just Geoff's favorite fish to catch.
Yep.
Yep, in the
Comment
YouTube
with
comments.
with
That's
my
it.
favorite fish.
And
And then you'll be put in a drawing to be drawn.
Yeah.
Cool. When's the end date?
You guys call it.
Kit decide.
Well, let's say a week after this podcast launches.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We'll give you 7 days.
7 days.
$150 plus jig head set.
And then I'll. Are you going to use anything other than Kit Pearl and Kit Purple?
Probably not.
Okay, so I'll make him some of his standard jigs, and I'll make something special for you, and I'll
That
send
work.
them to you guys, or else I'll give them to you next time we go fishing.
There
How's
you go.
that sound? Because I gotta provide something for you too as well.
Works for us.
All right.
But other than that, man, Geoff, it's been a blast today. Amazing fishing, amazing podcast, amazing beer, amazing air. It was a beautiful day now. It's I truly appreciate, Fishing Kit myself. We started this podcast because we love to support local businesses and local people and everything. So truly appreciate that you were just, open arms to invite us to come and fish with you and just record here with you. And other than that, man, keep grinding, dude. Keep doing your jig. And like I just said, I think I am wholeheartedly sold on
Are you
fishing.
sold?
I think
I
I'm
love
sold.
it.
I think
That's
I'm pretty
awesome.
sold. I think I'm pretty sold on your jig heads and everything. And like I just said, man, this is an amazing time because I learned some new techniques today. I was able to catch fish today, and it was just, like I said, man, it's good times, man.
Absolutely. I enjoyed doing it, and I'm glad you guys came.
Yeah.
One
Awesome.
more thing before we go.
Sure.
What was our total? Was it like 74 or 75? Because we had 71. And then we caught at least 3 more, right?
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
moved.
I mean, if I would have been a real fisherman and landed shit, it would have been more. But it is what it is.
Let's say 74, 75.
There we
Yeah.
go.
That's a good day of fishing.
That is.
Great
good
day
day
of
of
fishing. So, other than that, guys, if you guys are listening to this far, truly appreciate it. Don't forget, guys, check out Fishing Kit's YouTube channel. His ass is over 3,000, so let's get his ass to 4,000.
Get him more.
Let's get him up to 4,000. Don't forget, check out Ma Pop Fishing. I just released a video today, and then check out Ma Pop Sports. So, other than that, make sure you guys share this podcast. Let's get this shit up because I think our YouTube's only like 270-ish, 280 subs.
Yeah, we got to build that up.
But we got a lot of listeners, that listen on the other hand on Spotify and YouTube, which is cool.
Right.
Or not YouTube, but iTunes, sorry. But other than that, man, you guys are badass. Till next time, man.
All right. See ya. Oh, yeah. Here's your $2 I owe you.
He pays latest.
I got to go get
Winner of the
$2.
day.